This week's episode of the Pretty Neat Podcast is brought to you by you. That's right, if you'd like us to promote your content or your store, let us know by going to theprettyneatpodcast.com and click in the mailbag.
It says Angry Orchard Cider House is in Walden, New York.
Well, that's between Pennsylvania and Boston. I don't know. Who knows?
Walden, New York. Yeah, but they're probably owned by, a larger conglomerate now. And they're likely brewed out of some more fiscally economical. Wow.
Yeah.
Why does that sound so weird to say? Okay.
Fiscally economical. Yeah, that's right. Economical is the adjective form of economy.
Economical definition. Giving good value or service in relation to the amount of money, time, or effort spent. Yeah, economical. It just sounds weird to say. Economical.
Yeah. Economical.
I think maybe it's like a double not a double standard, but saying fiscally economical, it's just economical. Well, I guess you could say fiscally because you're specifying that's the money that you're saving.
Sure.
Whereas economical can mean time or effort as well.
Sure.
All right.
Storage.
I stand by my original statement. Fiscally economical.
Yeah. Or as the fellas with from Morning Combat would say, they like when tables are economically organized.
Ooh. Yeah. That's more Luke. That's more
Yes.
Luke on the cable management. That very economical on the use of cables.
I feel
or errant cables.
Yeah. I feel like I should align with him more than BC. And in a lot of ways I do, but they're both excellent. Shout out. Come on the Pretty Neat Podcast. Free shout out, in fact.
That would be amazing.
It would.
That would be amazing. And I can only imagine the amount of shit talking that they would do about us after the fact on their own show.
I would love that. They could dump on a couple of donks if they want.
Did you see them talk about what Mike Perry said on Bisbing's podcast?
No.
So Mike Perry, right, of now notable bare knuckle fame, right?
Yes.
That's where he's making all of his money these days. And he's doing quite well. So props to him. But there's been like somewhat of an ongoing thing between him and BC. And he did a recent interview, but they were talking about, Mike Perry, what he's doing in the bare knuckle space, and just he's excelling. But the people that he's fighting are what? They're also former MMA fighters, not necessarily in their prime, whereas he is a guy in his physical prime who's there now just dominating. And they took that type of assessment saying, hey, we'd want to see him fight more competition based off of things that Mike Perry has said post-fight in interviews, right? He wants somebody that can stay in there and bang with him, as a paraphrase.
Well, Julian Lang.
Yeah. Mike Perry took that and basically said that MK was shitting on him. And it just got totally blown out of proportion. I was losing my fucking mind. But anyway, that could be a little bit of a podcast for you to hear in the future. But yeah, to your original point, Morning Combat, come on the Pretty Neat Podcast.
It's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast.
I have a lot of thoughts right now.
I want to know what all of them are.
It upsets me that I sign in and you guys are already talking MMA without me.
We're not.
Well, it feels like you are. So perception is reality.
Yeah, perception is reality.
You like how I
We're
do that?
we're
You
talking
like
about
what you just saw?
we're talking about bare knuckle.
I love
Ah,
this heat that's coming in. Just you open the door and you're like, "Boom," well, a blast of heat in your face.
mhm.
What are
You
you?
know the game we're playing.
Yeah, what are you drinking, Dom?
What are you guys drinking? Oh, the cider's back,
Mm-hmm.
as
I
in
gotta
Barry McCocken.
uh
No, that's a yeah, that's a guy. His name is Barry. His last name is McCocken, and he has a cider cup. Because I'm 12.
I like it.
So the cider's back. Ryan, what do you have?
I got a local IPA.
No shout outs. Hold it up so I can see it.
Then this will be the first video
Oh yeah,
podcast we do
we
at
shout them
lunchtime.
out all the time.
Yeah, Stone, come on the show.
Please do. I'm gonna go this weekend, I think, and maybe get
Nice.
some coffee.
Best
I
of luck.
have I have a red wine infused with espresso.
Yum.
Wow.
That sounds good.
It
What?
is. So Apothic wines. I'm sure you guys have seen those if you've been to a store,
Yep.
and I mean any store. They
I was at the
have,
Walmart gas station before this, so yep.
and they, yep, you've seen it. Their wine is not bad. They make an Inferno that's bourbon barrel aged that's pretty decent. Um, Years ago they had one infused with cold brew and it was wonderful, and now they don't make it anymore, which sucks. Um, but just recently they've come out with this espresso version and it's good.
Interesting.
B
Speaking of
plus.
cold brew, Dom and Aaron, I was
Mm-hmm.
telling you guys about the secret drink menu at the Lamplight
Yes.
Lounge. But not on the secret menu, on their actual cocktail menu, they do
Okay.
have a cold brew with I believe it's a rum style drink.
I'm not mad at that.
And while I didn't have it, I did have an excellent. They call it Nectar in the Rye, and it was a rye whiskey, and it was delightful.
Mm.
But off of the secret menu, Ashley was like, we sat at the bar. It was a reservation, but they sat us at the bar. And she's like, "Oh, secret menu. I hear you guys have a Dole Whip drink." And she's like, "Yeah, we do. Do you want it as a shot or a cocktail?" And in in being consistent with what we've been doing lately by going to the speakeasy in Old Town and then 1909 and doing those shots for
Mm-hmm.
tots, I said, "Yeah, we're doing shots." So they brought us two Dole Whip shots, and they were more like shooters, to be quite honest, but tasted just like a boozy, liquidy Dole Whip. It was delightful.
So you can get a Dole Whip with alcohol at Disney World.
I've never, well, I've never been to Disney World. I've been to Epcot. I've not been into
So
Disney World. I
this
wasn't
makes me
even aware that that
angry.
was a thing.
Disney World is not a place you can go, and you know that, and you know better, and don't ever say it again.
What do you what?
Disney World is the area.
It's the area. Yeah, we're talking about specific
So if you've been to
parks.
Epcot, you've been to Disney World, and I believe they have, at least to some extent. I believe you can get it there, but I'm pretty sure I had it at Hollywood Studios.
Hmm.
Yeah. Did it look like that?
In that original picture at the top of the screen in the shot glasses, that is exactly what it looked like.
Okay. And it was good?
It was delightful.
Okay. So the cold brew coffee cocktail is cold brew coffee, heavy cream, frangelico, Bailey's, Kahlua, and agave topped with cinnamon. I'm into that.
Okay. Yeah, they have one that caught my eye. I think it was called the Black Pearl, if I'm not
Ooh.
mistaken. Oh, here it is. We have the Fun Wheel,
I don't see a black pearl on their menu.
Earthquake.
They
That's
have
not
one called
it.
Over Budget. That's fun.
Yeah, the Black Pearl. It's on the secret menu.
Mm.
Dark Caribbean sunset look with raspberry, kick of Chambord, Sprite. It looked darker when I saw somebody getting it made for them. But it was great. They have one that's at
I
Melrose. These are
I
all
love
like,
everything about that. I've been drinking a lot of cocktails lately, so this sounds like it's right up my alley.
yeah, yeah. Ashley said we're living in our shot era right now because we've been taking a lot of shots lately. We're in our shot era.
Good for you guys. I support it.
It was great. And she also told me like, hey, last week, because it's an interesting thing, like going to Disneyland, like before our passes are blacked out, we're just trying to cram in a visit a week. And it's blacked out after this week, but
Hmm.
she said that, last Tuesday you got a little crazy. So we have to slow it down today. And I was like, we have food festival, we have sip and savor,
Hmm.
we have reservations at Lamplight Lounge, like, and this is our last Disney trip until December. Like it's going down.
This is full send. So we will be upgrading our passes in February. I think the window opens in January, so we can get some weekend availability because I can't just take days off during the week really anymore, which sucks. So that's what we'll be doing.
So
Yeah.
my wife has the one pass level above me where you get half off parking,
Yeah.
and then I have the one below that, but it also has the expanded availability, which is why we've been able to go into essentially mid-December
Oh,
now.
so did you guys upgrade them then?
Yeah, we did.
Because I was gonna say at one point you had the lowest one, right?
I did.
Which one do you have? The enchant,
Um,
maybe?
I will tell you.
How was your birthday,
Uh,
Dom?
Oh, hey, it was good. I worked, so that sucked. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, be an
well, it's in
adult,
the middle of the week.
We always work on our birthdays now.
That is true. I never used to. It was like a big thing for me, and now I do. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she has the believe, so I have the enchant.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll be going up to Enchant Keys, which do have some weekends, right? Or at
They
least
do.
Sundays.
Yeah, Sundays.
Yeah.
Sundays. That's we were also discussing Sundays because apparently I think it's also at the Lamplight Lounge they do a brunch,
Ooh.
and it sounded good.
Yeah, dude.
Apparently Sunday is the day to go now.
Is it like
Hmm.
super light on a
That's what
Sunday?
I've heard. Yeah.
Easy like Sunday morning?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I would enjoy weekend availability. Weekends are premium
Well,
premium
if
for
you
me.
if you have the enchant, you've got some.
Yeah, we never go on a Sunday.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, that's been your
That's your Disney corner break
yeah.
recap highlight.
Yep. We're gonna need a drop.
So let's just briefly, because the more I read about it, the more it pisses me off. So your boy Shohei Ohtani, right? It's old news at this point. Signs this massive fucking deal with the Dodgers, but then the more details that come out about it, the weirder it kind of gets.
Yeah.
So an unprecedented 90%, literally $680 million is deferred until the 10-year window after this 10-year contract, so 2034.
Yep.
And then it comes out today. So the deal has not gone to the league for approval yet, which is interesting. But um, if either Mark Walter, who is the controlling owner, and or president of baseball operations Andrew Friedman, who's been there for quite a while, if either of them leaves the organization, Otani gets to get out of the contract at the end of that season.
Yep. I read that as well. That's essentially is what that is saying without me knowing anything about those individuals, that he believes if they were to leave the organization that it could mean a change in operational
Excellence, which is
excellence.
what they have
Yeah.
been.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I
So
thought as well.
I just don't know how much of this should be allowed. I am a real. Oh wow, Draymond Green was suspended indefinitely. Did you see that?
I did for I also saw that his agent, the Warriors general manager, and someone else, perhaps a league official, were meeting on Thursday to discuss counseling, probably anger management counseling for him.
He probably should be removed at this point.
What
I
do you
hate to
think's
say
fair?
that.
What do you think's fair? Because we're talking about on the court incidents of violence
Multiple times now.
multiple times. Ja Morant, who also
Josh
you
should have
heard
got the
him,
whole season, as far as I'm concerned.
Ja got 25 games.
But he should have got the whole season.
Okay, and he didn't.
Did you read the ESPN article on him like 6 weeks ago?
About Ja Morant. No, recently I thought you were going to bring up how he was testifying in court about
Oh
him
yeah, yeah.
punching a 17-year-old, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, in self-defense at a home pickup basketball game. What do you think about that, Aaron?
That's dumb.
No, that's
He's
He
lucky
probably
it wasn't Anthony Smith's home because Anthony
he
Smith would beat the
probably had
shit
the
out of you.
reach advantage.
I say that because Anthony Smith did beat the shit out of a home intruder one time.
Mm-hmm.
Sean
John,
Strickland.
here's the thing. No, Anthony Smith too.
Oh yeah, so both of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
John Morant, if that was an isolated incident, I could get there for him, but it's not. And the ESPN article from like 2 months ago was not kind. Basically saying without saying that he doesn't get it. He does not see the error in his ways. And a lot of people in the Memphis organization are pretty concerned that it's not going to change. Um, you can't be flashing a gun on social media at a strip club and then again in a car and his friend, business partner guy pointing it at the Pacers traveling bus. Like you can't do that. So I think he should have got the whole year. I think it definitely is correct for Draymond. This is like 12 years of incidents they've had. He's had ample opportunity. What do you think?
So he has a track record. It is clearly escalating, and it's escalating at a more rapid pace now. So I think indefinitely initially is the right call. However, what I'm looking forward is the NBA to remain consistent in the type of punishment that they dole out, because, and this is not necessarily a defense of Draymond Green, but he, in my opinion, in my perspective, gets far more harsh criticism than what Ja Morant was getting from the league, because of what Ja Morant potentially means.
Who sells more jerseys, Ryan? Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't have the figures in front of me,
but if
I
you
were to
had to
hazard a
guess,
if I had to guess, I would say that Ja Morant probably sells a shitload more of jerseys than Draymond Green does, and that people that buy Draymond Green jerseys probably are leaning into the fact that he is a violent player, and they are kind of just leaning into that whole aspect of it. They're probably also they're probably the January 6th or 6th or
Ja
maybe.
is 6th in the league.
Wow. As of right now, this year?
This is 2023, it says. Well, for last year, he was 6th. For 2022, 2023. It was Curry,
Okay.
LeBron, Giannis, Luka, Kevin Durant, and then Ja Morant.
Damn.
So, good job by you, NBA media arm that controls the way that people view your young stars and guys that don't move the needle like Draymond. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, so he can opt out if Otani can opt out if those two, either one of those two guys exits, and 90% of his contract is deferred. I am all for an open market. I am all for sort of free market capitalism. I'm all for creative contracts. This kind of feels like they're getting away with something. Is that, am I on the wrong side of this? I'm really trying to figure out.
No. Just the level of talent, the amount that he will get paid with the vast majority of it, right? 9 out of $10 essentially getting paid after the contract expires. And that's in large part because he's so marketable that he can still make a large sum of money every year with sponsorships.
So he made north of $30 million in sponsorships alone last year.
He'll make more
He
with the
will make
Dodgers.
he'll make a little bit more. The estimated local net impact to the economy is in whatever city he plays in is $444 million per year. So hard to say he's not worth it. It just feels like by doing this deferral and giving him that opt-out clause, like this is uncharted waters for sure, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see like where it goes from here, you know?
Yeah, like just the escalation for more
Mm-hmm.
players. Yeah, I understand that completely. Also, this is relatively new news, right? Yesterday at the park, I saw a woman in a Nike Dodgers Shohei Otani jersey, baseball jersey, Dodger
Hmm.
blue. I was like, wow, that's
Where'd you get that?
really fast, right? Over by Grizzly River Rapids, we were waiting in line to take our picture with Doug the dog from Up, even though I
Sure.
haven't seen that movie.
Hmm.
Yeah, haven't seen that movie yet. But
Well, I don't know. It whatever. Good for them. If they want to do it, I suppose. I think it kind of the thing nobody's saying, he really doesn't care, I guess, about the team after he stops playing, does he? Because 70 million a year for a guy who's not on the team is a tough to me, a tough pill to swallow, but I'm not the one paying it, so
either that, or you could take it in as he really cares about the team as he's playing for them so that they can spend additional money to be as competitive as possible.
but then they've got to pay him 70 million a year when he's not playing.
Yeah, they do.
And if that
But
doesn't count against their luxury tax number, then I think they are getting away with something. I've heard I've heard both kind of takes on that. I don't know which one is the real one. Some people say it doesn't get them out of it. Some people say it does. I really don't care. Um, the whole thing just seems, I don't know, strange to me. But what do I know? What do I know?
That was aliens.
Thanks.
I was hoping it would be weirder music. It wasn't.
yes.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that.
that was that. I'm not upset the Angels didn't do it. I'll say that. And people might think I'm just saying that. I'm not. I before all this contract, I said I think they could be better without him. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that. I'm probably wrong, but that type of deal is stupid. Why? I mean, I guess if you're the Dodgers, and I still don't necessarily. I whatever. I don't want to talk about it
I want to talk.
unless one of you does, in which case we can.
No, I
Whatever.
am interested in just what is that impact on the luxury tax for the team when the deferred payments do come due. And there's a San Diego Union Tribune article about it, which I'll skim through.
The
And
Union Trib, U-Trib.
UTrib, SDUT.
Mm-hmm.
So it says for the purpose of baseball's luxury tax, the contract is valued as a yearly addition to the Dodgers payroll of about $46 million under the current collective bargaining agreement for calculation of a team's tax payroll. The value of deferred money is discounted at the federal midterm rate. For all agreements this offseason, the discounting will be at the October 2023 rate of 4.43%.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying the deferred money is calculated at that rate of 4.43%.
So they're gonna pay some tax on
They're
it.
going to pay some, but largely reducing their overall payroll, which allows them the flexibility to assign additional people or trade
Yeah.
for top tier talent and not pay a steep luxury tax.
Yeah. Well, they figured it out then, I guess. I don't know. You know. Okay. Good for them.
Hmm.
It really makes it very clear he was never going to stay with the Angels. So whatever. You know, it's not,
Let's
they had him, didn't sniff 500, so whatever.
let's trade Trout, blow it up, trade Trout to the Phillies.
I don't know. I'm torn on it.
You can't have that man continue to play in the Angels with no hope of any type of rebound, at
There's
least
some, you know what
currently.
the Ewing theory is?
Uh, no.
The Bill Simmons thing. So Bill Simmons, noted sportscaster, he coined the Ewing theory, which is a star athlete receives an inordinate amount of media attention and fan interest, yet the team never wins. And then when the player leaves, the team wins.
I see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Seattle Mariners, Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr., Alex Rodriguez.
Yep.
But the Mariners didn't win anything.
Well, so this article was May 9th, 2001.
Okay.
So that Mariners team, I think, had the most wins in regular season history.
Also, the New York Knicks didn't win a championship after Ewing left.
But they got there. They lost to the Tim Duncan, David Robinson Spurs.
Okay, we got to the NBA Finals and we still didn't win.
Hey, the Angels didn't get to the playoffs.
Like some of this is a stretch, man. We're talking about college.
It's 2001, dude.
The Miami Dolphins of 2000. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Let me get off this article from 20 plus years ago. It's interesting, and Bill Simmons is always good for some takes. Shout out to Bill Simmons, the hottest take, which is now defunct, but you can go back and listen to 10-minute podcasts of a round table of people that are writers and podcasters on his network that just have hot takes on topics. It's fun. It's fun. It's a 10 minutes of fun. Anyway,
we'll see what happens. Who cares? It's December. We've got like 6 or 8 weeks until baseball really gets going again.
Yeah. Let's talk some fisticuffs. Ooh.
That was the sound of your dong coming out.
Dude.
And my birthday was good. Thank you for asking.
You worked. Did you do anything else besides work?
We're going to Stone on Saturday for lunch, and then I'm going to come home and watch UFC.
Nice.
Fantastic.
That's about it. Yeah, I'm going to buy some of the Stone Brewing or Stone Coffee Company coffee. Probably get drunk on the couch or maybe in the hot tub or both.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Naked.
How else would you do it?
Not with clothes on, and even if I had clothes on, I'd be naked. So
fair enough. Yeah, there were fights.
There were fights.
We got Aaron, 4 out of 6.
I was gonna say, how do we do on our picks?
Not terrible.
We cashed 3 out of 4 now.
Yeah, we're definitely just hitting average right now.
Yeah. We hit Tatsuro Taira, who indeed landed less than 45 strikes. We hit Mini Kelvin, who landed less than 75 strikes. Khalil Roundtree, we knew that was going more than 6.5 minutes.
Let's talk about the ending to that fight for just a second.
Yeah, with Anthony Smith.
Dramatic display of restraint or potential violence.
I am now a huge Khalil Roundtree fan, and you guys know he used to weigh 400 pounds. Oh, it was you that told me that.
Yes. Yeah. I was basically making a commentary around how underutilized his success story is and just him picking up MMA for fitness. And now he's fighting in the UFC and he's a top 10 ranked UFC light heavyweight fighter.
He spent some time in Thailand doing kickboxing as well.
He did. It's where he has really learned those devastating low leg kicks.
They're a nightmare.
Crazy stuff, man.
Nightmare guy.
For Him, you know the fucking determination it takes to go from 400 to 205. No, no, not to mention fighting in the fucking UFC.
Yeah. To an
Like,
athletic career.
dude.
Yeah. To be 400 pounds to then being like, he had that within him the whole time to be this top tier type of athletic
Yep.
person.
Mm-hmm.
And he just had to find it and be
Mm-hmm.
consistent in his willingness to go to where he needed to go.
He
I
found it.
I love it.
Me too. Shout out
But
Khalil
it,
Roundtree, and thank you for not just absolutely destroying Anthony Smith, which you could have.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, if he pounced like any other fighter would have and landed at least, depending on the referee, 2 to 15 more strikes,
Yep.
and he just showed restraint and knew that he was done and allowed the referee to acknowledge that and then prevent any further damage, like tip of the cap right there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And we knew Song Yadong was going to get less than 115. We nailed that. Long decision, control, not a lot of scoring.
Total like control of the fight, dominance, but
Mm-hmm. Boring?
I, yeah, like not, yeah, you want it to be exciting. It wasn't.
Yeah. Piotr Jan posted on social media a yawning emoji. I actually think that'd be a good fight. Um, or like Dominic Cruz or something like that would be good.
For Song?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I didn't bring up the
There's
rankings.
a 4 or 5 guy log jam at the top of this division that
Yeah, 135. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
two and
Davison
three,
would be good too. Both coming
I would
off
be into that.
wins.
that might be the fight.
Yeah. And there's recent. Yeah. Both of those. That there it is. That's the fight. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. And then we missed on the Iron Turtle, who landed unfortunately three too few strikes. And Park Hyun Sung, we almost had. I mean, it went 9 minutes instead of five, and we picked under five, but it was pure domination for the last 4 minutes of the first round, and I thought it was going to be over.
Yeah, I think you and I, Aaron, were the ones like messaging back and forth. It just, there are at least two solid moments where you're like, yep, here's a first round submission. Oh,
Yep.
nope, he got out of it. Oh, he took the back again. It was just choke after choke after choke. And I mean, shout out to his opponent Shannon Ross, who like his average fantasy score was like less than a point coming in because he had suffered first round KOs. His ability to defend and scramble on the ground was commendable.
Yeah, good job.
It's just unfortunate for us because had he not like resisted that as hard, we definitely would have hit 5 out of 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Jun
we
Young Park, that was a real shit deal because he originally at the original estimate was over the
Mhm.
Yeah,
34.5, and then they
I
did a
hate that.
recalculation. I was like, motherfucker.
I hate that.
Yeah, that was sad.
But I feel good. I feel good about this upcoming 296. I feel like there's a lot of clear people that I feel are going to win. It's just a matter
Yeah,
of
me too.
us talking through how they're going to do it or what our limit or what kind of parameters we're going to put on them.
I totally agree with that. And there are like 2 or 3 fights that I think we should talk about, but we're not going to make picks on. There are 5 ranked fighters on the early prelims.
Dude,
Yeah,
this card in terms of top to bottom,
It's
solid.
pretty
you
good.
want to watch
All of
not that
it.
we don't watch all the fights because we
No,
do,
it's all
but
of it for
we
sure.
really want to watch all of the fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Martin Boudet, the heavyweight against Shamil Gaziev, that counts because he's number 15, but also not. And then Tagir Ulanbekov and Cody Durden and Alonzo Manifield and Dustin Jacoby finish out the early prelims.
Dude.
And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast picks.
Uh, before that, we talked about Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
The movie?
Yes, we
Yep.
watched it yesterday.
And
I love it. I've seen it. I mean, I can recall from my earliest memories it being in my family's library. Riley had
I'm willing
never
to
seen it.
bet I could type out every word.
Dude, easy. But Riley had never seen it.
That is not okay.
Yeah. So I was shocked. And she very much so enjoyed it.
Okay, good. I was curious because I did kind of wonder if it's the type of movie that if you didn't see when you were little, if it sort of holds up the same
you
way.
have the same attachment. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
We had
it
a similar experience. Ashley had never seen Scrooged, the Bill Murray Christmas Carol
ooh,
I've
take.
never seen Scrooged.
yeah. Really? Oh, you
Mm.
would love Scrooged.
Would I?
I think you would. It's a great take on the Christmas Carol. And Bill Murray's brother is in Christmas Vacation. He plays Chevy Chase's boss.
Oh.
What?
Yeah. Have you never seen Bill Murray's brother?
I don't think you're telling me the truth.
You're like,
So
what? Bill Murray doesn't have a brother?
It's not only does Bill Murray have
that's
a
Bill Murray's
brother,
brother.
yes, but not only does Bill Murray have a brother, his brother, oh, this is fucking Christmas Story. Um, but his brother looks just like him in the eyes.
When you point it out, I can't unsee it now.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? Because you're like, oh shit, that's totally Bill Murray's brother.
Wow.
Where is it? I just got to look for Murray. Uh,
Oh, that's Sam McMurray.
did I pass it? No.
His name is Brian Doyle Murray.
Okay, makes it easier. Yeah, and he's in a lot of shit. Caddy, a lot of Murray's movie.
Oh, that fucking guy? This is
Yeah.
the guy from he's the guy from Wayne's World.
Yes, the
Yep.
big executive. There he is in Christmas Story. But look at his eyes. That's
Yep. You're
just
right.
Bill Murray.
You're right.
It's pretty wild. Oh, and there he is on SNL doing Weekend Update. That's
Good for
weird.
him.
I didn't know he was on SNL.
So I'm glad
Neither
she
did I.
liked it. It's a very good movie. Um, and I will be
And
watching it on Friday when my actual Christmas vacation starts.
nice. And it does hold up. Excellent.
We watch it every year. I know it holds up.
Shitter's full.
That's
Shitter's
what my
full.
Christmas sweater says. And it has a big RV on it. Hang on. Yeah, here it is. Look.
Uh,
Can you-
oh no, it's
Oh no, it's
blurry.
blurred.
Here,
See
put it
that?
in like your
And then it's got
chest.
the
Pretend you're wearing
RV,
it.
right?
There
There
we
you
go.
go.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Whatever. I
Where's
couldn't
my
wear
stogie?
it was ugly sweater day at work today. Obviously I couldn't wear that, which is it is what it
Unfortunate.
is.
I
Yeah,
have
Well,
that's
a
unfortunate.
I have a Hanukkah sweater that has dreidels on it and says that's how I
I
roll.
I have a pretty good Joe Biden one that says Merry Fourth of Easter or something. I couldn't wear that one either.
Uh,
I like it.
wow.
So yeah, Christmas Story, it passed. And then it sparked a discussion about how it is less raunchy than both Vacation and European Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually had just recently listened to a podcast about how Christmas Vacation actually started the de-raunchification of National Lampoon.
Oh, interesting.
Um, and yeah, so even though they did end up returning to that more so with like Van Wilder and those
Yeah.
movies, they did start like a family friendly section in there. Hence Vegas Vacation, which is almost not raunchy at all.
Yep.
And I would almost say that's the
Um,
most kid friendly. There's tits in the first one.
European, yeah, Beverly D'Angelo. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think being like a four or maybe not 4 or 5, that's pretty early for any adolescent fantasies. But I do think his like the swimming pool daydream that he has with the chick from the makeup counter or whatever is like
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the first times I was like, hmm, I
Mm.
understand the sound effect the diving board just
Why'd she
made.
forget her swimsuit?
I would like to know
Uh,
where the rest of her went. And then she almost comes out of the water all the way,
Yeah. Oh, I
fucking
know the scene.
edging everyone. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, UFC 296 is going to be happening
as
at
as we were saying.
UFC 296 is happening this weekend at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the last UFC card of any type in this calendar
Mm-hmm.
year. Um,
And I'm okay with it.
I am too. This is going out with a bang. This
Before
is
we bang our way into 296, Ryan, do you want to talk about it or you want to skip it?
Justin Herbert?
Yeah,
Is that what
wow.
you was that what you meant?
I that is what I mean. Yes.
Damn. I hit that.
Buy a
The
lot of
proposed
tickets.
trade of Justin Herbert to the Rams for Sean McVay? Is that what you're talking about?
No, no, the Rams would never do that. It's I will give you at the end of the season Stafford and this year's first round pick for him.
No. You're not even getting
Hmm.
close to the value.
I bet the Chargers would do it.
I don't think they would.
Okay.
So here's what's likely to happen, right?
The Chargers
Staley,
definitely would not do it.
they would not do it.
No team
Staley,
would.
no team would. Staley goes,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, at the end of the season, at this point, you tank and keep him, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
you keep them, you suck it up. You know what really sucks? You know what really fucking
You
sucks?
have tickets to that Buffalo game.
Yeah. Which
Aaron,
may
we used to work with
now
a guy that looks just like that.
Yes, we
that guy's
did.
on the card. How the fuck is that fat bastard on the card?
He's a pro athlete and we're not. That's a bummer.
Oh no.
I'm less
Yeah,
happy.
no,
Speaking of, where has our favorite America's favorite professional athlete been? We haven't
Chris
seen that. I
Curtis.
can't. Chris Curtis. No, not Chris
No.
Curtis. What is his name? He's technically Spanish, but also from America.
Oh, I know exactly who you're
We
talking
haven't
about.
seen that guy in a long time.
He might be ranked at this point.
I
The
don't
guy who
think
does
so.
somersaults.
It is Chris something, right?
it is. Yeah, we're right there. We're on the precipice of what his name is actually, but
Fat UFC fighter. Mark
wow.
Hunt. No, definitely not. Daniel Cormier is number one on this website. That's a bummer.
Chris Barnett.
Chris
Chris Barnett.
Barnett.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
You know what I looked up? Fat UFC Spanish fighter who did a
There
flip.
you go.
There he is. Beast Boy.
Bad boy.
I want to see
Sorry, Chris.
Anyway,
Chris could make 205.
yeah, for sure.
So just like we talked about Khalil, sorry, he pronounces his name Khalil.
Yeah.
Chris Barnett can make 205. Chris
Yeah.
Barnett, with the same discipline that Khalil exemplifies, could probably make 185.
Chris Barnett might be the greatest athlete on earth. And there's an argument for it. Anyway, Justin Herbert, continue in the Chargers.
Justin Herbert. Yeah, really fucking sucks that.
So obviously you're still going to the game a week from Saturday, right?
Still going to the game.
Are you hoping for a loss?
I'm hoping that it. No, I would still like them to beat the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Just in terms of the viewing pleasure of my in-laws, specifically my mother-in-law, who has not been to a Chargers game since they were in San Diego when we had
What do we
season
call
tickets.
her? The Immortal Cliff and what?
Patty.
I know Patty, but what is her title? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Keep going.
She doesn't currently have a title.
I thought she did. Anyhow, it's all right.
I would be okay with a loss because of what it means for draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
However, to maximize the experience of Cliff and Patty, I would like to see them win.
Okay.
Now, here's the real shitty part. I think that game gets flexed out of the evening, the 520 spot. I think it gets flexed out, which is really going to throw a wrench into the plans for that day, because we have a family member flying in this weekend that my in-laws are picking up, and it's going to stay the week, and we're going to have a dinner and etc. But the plan was that we're going to take her to the airport early that Saturday and then go to the game. And if it gets flexed to the early game,
so she might be going to the airport really early, is what you're saying.
You know what? Here's we're gonna call you an Uber or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah.
Anyway, I expect it to get flexed out just because it's now no longer intriguing at all. And
but it could mean something for the Bills still.
Technically, the Chargers could still be in the playoff hunt. They will not have Justin.
I don't like when you say the Chargers could still be in the playoff hunt.
Technically, yeah.
I don't like when you say that, because right now they are 12th. And does it cut off at 7?
Yes, it does.
So they are 2 games behind Indy.
So a lot of things have to happen, right? There's a lot of variables at play.
Mm-hmm.
They do have to beat the Raiders, which is the Thursday game tomorrow.
Yep.
No Justin Herbert, no Keenan Allen.
The Raiders are a bad team.
The Raiders are bad, but they're the kind of bad team that plays well against division rivals. So I expect them to win. The Raiders, that is. And then the following week, they're playing the Bills. And either way, we'll figure it out. In case we have to go there for a 1:00 start time, that's fine. We'll make it work. And we'll have a good time anyway. So
yeah.
Cliff and Patty are, they're fantastic individuals. Mookie Betts, every day, second baseman for the Dodgers next year.
I love it.
It's going to be exciting to see him and Shohei play together.
Yes, it is. And Freddie Freeman.
Dude. So how do you think that lineup works? Do you have Mookie Betts lead off?
He leads off, then Ohtani, then Freeman, or Freeman and Ohtani. You can do it either way.
Why is Leon just floating around Mookie's?
So my Rams, who the referees decided, hey, you're allowed to, you guys have to deal with 5 blocks in the back on a punt return. And we're going to let the Ravens beat you, even though everyone who watched this game knows you really should have won. The Rams played much better against a good Ravens team than anyone expected them to. And they were 7.5-point underdogs. They covered that, and they really should have won. Whatever. So they find themselves at 6-7, a tiebreaker out of the final playoff spot because they lost that bullshit game to Green Bay when Stafford didn't play. But they have Washington on Sunday, very winnable game. Thursday night against New Orleans. I'm going to that game. Very excited for it. Also a winnable game, but a little tougher than Washington. Then the Giants, a very winnable game. So they very well could be 9-7 going into that final week, and they play my favorite, the 49ers. So.
And we suspect that the 49ers would be playing for what, home field advantage?
Maybe not even that at that point. So it will depend. I think, though, Shanahan likes to beat the Rams, so I expect him to throw the book at him. The fact of the matter is, the fact that the Rams are even in this position when people literally thought they were going to have the worst record in the league, you all can go fuck yourselves. How about that?
Hey, let's shed some light on things.
Not you two.
Yeah.
Not you two. Everybody, which neither of you picked them to have the worst record. Everybody who picked them to have the worst record, go fuck yourself. This is a team that's a year removed from winning the Super Bowl. Okay? Go ahead.
They're an exceptionally well-run organization.
Mm-hmm.
It was concerning, like the youth movement that they're experiencing while trading away some proven talents. Now, Jalen Ramsey, as we know, is a bit of a head case, but he is a talented player.
Mhm.
Witherspoon has been quite the revelation on the outside on playing cornerback this year.
Yeah.
Uh, your second round pick, Ernest Jones,
Yes.
has been excellent.
Yep.
Just
Russ East,
absolutely
very good.
yes. And
The interior lineman. What there's a couple of them, but the one that has been playing very well recently is Kobe Turner.
what is this? What is this that you're doing? What is this abomination?
It's
Why is
Shavkat
Shavkat
Otani.
Shavkat Otani?
Shavkat Otani.
It's a great name. Let's be honest. It's a great name.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be. I'm working on the podcast cover art.
You know that Shavkat would wishes he was Shohei Otani.
Well,
Who doesn't?
Shohei makes a lot more money than Shavkat does.
Yeah.
Okay. UFC 298, 296 rather is here.
296.
Yes, it is. We already started talking about it.
So
The first
is this right? Randy Brown is the early prelim curtain
The
jerker?
first fight is
That's
Rude
fucking
Boy.
wild.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's insane. That's gonna be really, really fun. This
Now,
first fight,
correct me if I'm
bro.
wrong. Muslim, right? Muslim Salikov, he's the guy who throws a lot of spinny shit.
He does throw spinny shit. That's not a lie, but he's a grappler as well. Like he's pretty significantly grappling. Uh but yeah, look at those. Look at 70% of his wins are by knockout.
Yeah, but like also look at his average fight time. It's longer than fucking Randy Brown's, and Randy Brown basically 85 times out of 100 goes to decision. What is that? What is that even?
I
That
don't
that
know.
that's MMA math for you.
Very much so.
Take the under on significant strikes for Randy Brown, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, are we picking 12?
No, no.
No,
Or
no.
the over on fight time. I don't even know what it is. But
Yeah.
how about this? Don't bet in any way on this fight. 12 and a
Yeah.
half minutes for fight time. Whatever. Who cares?
All right.
I think the first one really worth talking about is Cody Garbrandt, Brian Kelleher at bantamweight.
All right. So
Neither are
Brian,
ranked.
neither are ranked. Cody has displayed a massive degradation in his punch resistant, right? Resistance. He's trying to change his style. What I have seen, right? This is just my observation, is that when he gets pressured, he reverts back to, well, I'm just gonna fucking wing a wild overhand and try and knock you out, which
Mm-hmm.
is not good for defense. Now, Brian Boom Kelleher hasn't fought in, I want to say like 3 or 4 years, because he had not even that long. What am I thinking?
It
So
was kind of he had two losses.
he had a neck procedure. Did you guys hear about this? The neck injury that he had and how they fixed it?
Mm-mm.
So they were saying it was similar to what Aljamain Sterling had, and how you fix this is they actually do a procedure where almost like a tracheotomy, right? Where they make an incision here, the front of your throat, to get access to the part of your neck to make
Yeah.
the repairs for the vertebrae. That's wild. But this is his first fight back. And
How bad does my neck hurt? Because I'm not having that surgery.
we're gonna go in through here.
Mm-mm. No, you're not.
No, you're not. Anyway, I
This is an
struggle
interesting.
with this one. I struggle. Like, Aaron, what are you thinking? I'm leaning towards Brian Kelleher here. And this is for somebody who just appreciates what Cody Garbrandt has done, but he's not the same person.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's not. Um, this is also
He
not
hasn't
an
looked
easy
good in
one.
damn near 5 years.
He
No, 7 years.
like is like, and he had that even when he beat a Sun Sao.
It was the same thing where it was that
Yeah,
pressure against the fence, and he just did this like
yeah.
massive, super
Kelleher's gonna dive in those pressure situations. He's not gonna throw.
maybe.
He's gonna grapple and try and get it down because he'll want to submit him. Is my guess because you kind of have to fight Cody that way. You can't be in a phone booth with him, and I almost kind of worry that that is what's gonna happen. Like I'm kind of leaning Cody on this one. I mean maybe it's the strike differential being, but even still, it's higher on Brian. So
It's
that,
almost the same.
yeah. I mean, obviously,
It's almost the same.
we can see that by the numbers, Brian is outputting more, which would maybe lend to him being the more aggressive of the two,
But
which
he
is,
absorbs more.
but it's,
They
and his,
both do.
so
It
it's
just means
this,
that unless Cody stays really disciplined, he's just gonna wing fucking shots.
I
which is,
would like to see him use some of this wrestling he apparently has.
yeah. Wasn't he a team alpha male?
He was.
I think he was a pretty decorated high school wrestler too, right?
Yeah,
He was.
he does not use it. Um, I'm glad we're not necessarily making a pick on this one
Nope.
because this has Slobberknocker written on it as well as uh probably a finish, but I don't know who. I really don't. I can't see this, or it could be just a back and forth, and it could go to decision. I could see a split here,
I don't
even
I don't
still.
know. I don't know if this fight could go the distance just with Cody not being able to take a lot of punishment as he's been able to earlier in his career. I just don't
Hmm.
see him being able to do that. But I
I think that's
have no
reasonable.
idea. I have no idea how either of these guys are going to look based on the last time they fought. Cody is obviously, when he changed camps, trying to change his style or implement, better strategic choices.
Hmm.
And Brian Kelleher, like, I know he's fun to watch. Neck injuries are tough. I don't know what that's going to look like, what
Yeah.
kind of shape they're going to be in. I
Did
don't
he
know.
go 3 rounds with Umar? I think
I
he
don't know.
did. I think he lost a decision to Umar. Nope, he was submitted by Umar in the first round. Okay. Well, that doesn't particularly change much about this fight since Cody does not fight anything like Umar Nurmagomedov.
Still doesn't.
I'm leaning towards Cody on this. I feel like Cody wants to be bigger again. And if he wants to get a ranking, he has to put on a heck of a performance and get a finish. Uh, and if that's not in his goals anymore, then he's gonna lose. Like if that sort of level of passion isn't there, if he's just thinking I just got to go out there and get a win, I think Brian Keller her would live up to his nickname and boom him. Probably probably a straight knockout, just cold.
It would be kind of cool if he suddenly became like the Colby Covington style wrestler of bantamweight
Hmm.
and started to kind of chip away at some of the top 15.
We
Hmm.
already have one of those. His name's Marab.
Oh,
Wow.
I that's not
No, I mean
unreasonable.
a guy who's not going to get head kicked into outer space by Sean O'Malley.
He's fighting
Marab is fighting
fighting Cejudo.
Henry Cejudo.
I know,
That's gonna
but
be great.
he's going to beat him and then inevitably end up with O'Malley. So
FYI, that fight is also in Anaheim at
Marab and Cejudo.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, you guys have to go.
oh, it's
Pre-sales tickets
I
start
don't see
tomorrow.
why we wouldn't. Oh, do they?
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Yep.
February 17th. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Cody Garbrandt, good luck. Brian, good luck. It's gonna be a fun fight, no matter what.
Oh, our girl Tatiana's on this card.
Oh,
Yeah,
Suarez,
that
hell yeah.
that just got she's fighting Amanda Lemos,
Oh, that's a good
who
one
who
too.
just fought for the title. So it could be a title eliminator.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Tatiana Suarez is going camping with me.
No.
Yeah. And Shavkat's coming.
Yep.
It's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ian
Yeah,
Gary's
'cause she's
also
got
going.
people that are undefeated in the UFC.
Damn, you figured out my camping
Oh,
trip.
good one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Before we go even up higher, I am a fan of Andre Feely.
Is this touchy?
Yeah, it
Yep,
is touchy.
I'm rooting for him.
Okay.
Um, this is a weird thing, and I'm gonna bring it into the card trade game because, uh, yeah, we have card trading listeners. Welcome to the show. Martin Boudet had a fuck ton of rookie cards come out, and I'm always kind of like, why do they do that? Like they dump them. Like they had a shitload of Tatsuro Taira.
Okay.
They had a shitload of Ian Gary. They had a shitload of Bo Nickel, and they had a shitload of Martin Boudet.
I mean, a Bo Nickel rookie card seems like a decent one.
Yeah, yeah. You may or may not have one in the mail, on the way for birthday. Anyway, this guy,
If it has his essence on it, I'm gonna be really excited.
that'd be good. Just like the Chandler underwear I sent you.
My
Uh,
brother-in-law and I, yes, just like that actually. My brother-in-law and I were watching Bo Nickel's grappling match with Gordon Ryan.
Yeah.
And I really need Gordon Ryan in the UFC. But also the fact that Bo Nickel was even like remotely competitive with the Bo Nickel is such a fucking monster.
is Bo Nickel going to be on 300? I assume he will.
I hope so.
Either that or he's going to be like co-headlining 299.
I just don't know who he's gonna fight.
I don't know. But maybe we'll
That's
revisit that.
for a different day. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to look up this video. But
While you're doing that, I
yeah,
think we are going to have a hard time with one of the main card fights.
I think we probably will.
And I think you guys both know which one I'm talking about. But before that, Irene Aldana and Carol Rosa at women's bantamweight. That's 5-9, right? Um that's only interesting because there's no champion there until Ronda comes back at 300. See what I did there? And then Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell. Bryce relegated all the way down to the prelims. You hate to see it.
Well, isn't Bryce the last minute replacement for that fight?
Yes, he is, but still. I'd like to see him get a win here.
Here's my question.
I'm not saying I'm
Do we-
picking him. We have to because there's only 5 main card fights, but I'd like to see him get a win.
Do we think that Bryce Mitchell gets a takedown against or like gets
Where are we
Josh
again?
Emmett
Sorry.
on the ground?
Bryce Mitchell and Josh Emmett.
Gotcha.
So 3 takedowns is the over under.
Like, I would take the under on that. I think that Josh Emmett would have pretty good takedown defense.
So Bryce averages 3.5 per 15 minutes. Takedown defense 46% for Emmett.
How does Josh Emmett win this fight? Not get taken down and then hit him in the
Just
face a bunch of times.
Points him. Yeah. Outpoints him.
Yeah.
Bryce doesn't get hit a lot. He only averages 1.64 absorbed per minute. Yeah, he absorbs 164 strikes per minute. That's not so bad.
It's because Bryce Mitchell is inevitably controlling the fight and having it on the ground where he's not absorbing strikes or he's clinching. Is Bryce Mitchell's taking this on like a couple weeks notice, right?
Yeah.
I thought so.
And Josh Emmett's been training for this fight. Josh Emmett, I assume, is a pretty heavy cut to 145. I don't
where
know if
Bryce really isn't.
I think Bryce is more like natural around 145, or at
Bryce
least
is a minus 218 here. And he's also 5'10. Josh Emmett's only 5'6. Hmm.
so.
Hmm.
I mean, like leverage wise, doesn't that favor Josh Emmett for takedown
So
defense?
we're
I
kind of
think,
what
yeah,
are you going to say?
Josh Emmett's gonna win.
Why do you think that?
I mean, short notice Bryce. That's first of all. I mean,
Hmm.
just short notice, lack of camp, and Bryce is not in camp all the time. Um, I think that the caliber of Josh Emmett's victories is a lot higher than Mitchell's. I mean, Emmett beat Dan Ige, and he's like unbeatable.
Well,
Well,
didn't Bryce
No,
Mitchell just beat Dan
yes.
Ige?
So like this is like the MMA math. So it's kind of like I'm going back and forth in my head. Shane Burgos knocked out
so whether
Mike
we think Bryce
Johnson.
is going to win or not, the numbers are very tough here. So it's 37 and a half significant strikes, 82 and a half fantasy score, or 3 takedowns. It really feels like they have these numbers designed so that we don't win whatever we choose on this.
I think you're right.
So,
I
I mean,
I
for what it's worth, I think that this fight ends up going to some type of decision, which then leads me to believe that Bryce Mitchell does not win.
I'm inclined to agree with that. He's not going to throw
So
as much. He would.
against Dan Ige, Bryce only landed 23 significant strikes.
Yeah. If anything, I think the less on significant strikes is the
I'm
wisest.
I'm kind of leaning that way too. He's not really a striker.
And Josh Emmett is. And I mean, he's got that Alexander Volkanovsky lunging that he does, like because of his short nature.
Emmett,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
He's really, really tough. And has
So
Bryce
Emmett
ever
was
been,
submitted by Yair Rodriguez.
which was shocking, but that was a club and sub.
Um, yeah, he doesn't get submitted a lot.
He's got pretty good takedown defense. That short nature, he's got the low center of gravity. That'll help.
47% takedown defense. Is that good?
No.
No. Takedown defense is the percentage of takedowns attempted against a fighter that do not land. So 53% of the time you do get him down.
Yeah.
So Bryce is gonna go for a fuckload of takedowns. You get him taken down most of the time. So then the
It's
prospect
the under
is,
on the significant strikes
I think so too.
because
I
he very well could submit him in round 1 or 2, and then that we get fucked on the fantasy score.
Yeah. And I think that that's his path to victory. And I think
Yes.
it's his only path. Like
Well,
an
he's never won by
early,
knockout. So
yeah, it has, and not only that, it has to be early. I think it has to be dry Josh Emmett as well. Because he's also got the for the right pun to use just to make people second guess it is he's got like that cow neck, but Bryce Middle fucking chokes out his cows for practice.
I
So
know that
like,
you guys don't like Bryce Mitchell, but I do. And I like him mostly for 2 reasons. I like that he's himself. I like anyone who's themselves. I don't like anyone that's playing a character,
hmm.
which is in
That's a
fact,
that's a contradiction because you like Colby Covington.
sir, I was saying the words. It is in fact a direct contradiction of something I'm going to say very shortly from now.
There we go.
Okay.
Uh,
But I don't like anyone who's playing a character.
yeah.
Jesus.
I like anyone who has for no reason other than it fits him a custom set of UFC shorts or some sort of custom shoes or something.
No, I do appreciate that. Even who's the middleweight fighter who just beat our boy from Scotland?
What?
But he's yeah.
Brendan Allen.
Brendan Allen, who was lobbying to
Yes.
get the Louisiana like purple shorts because he's repping Louisiana, right? So the LSU colors.
Yeah, but he's an idiot because he is not even remotely the most famous fighter from
He
Louisiana.
has not
That's not
gotten
the
to,
angle to play. They're not going to
and
do
he has
that.
not gotten two twisters. Like he's got to do that. You if
Bryce
you
is
He's
yeah.
got a thing. He's got a thing. More
Bryce
than
has
a,
a
and
Yeah,
thing.
he's got a
not
thing.
only that, he's got more than one thing. Like he is the submission guru. He's just like Damian Maya in that if you go to the ground with Bryce, you're in deep fucking shit.
Also, those shorts are cool. I like the way the camo looks. I
Hmm.
like a guy. I really think he would benefit from going to a like Killcliff FC, like a real MMA gym where he can
Hmm.
train with guys like Mike Chandler or whatever.
Yeah, get
But
the fuck out of his basement.
aside from that, right? Um, I do think he has a chance to win. It's gonna be by submission most likely, or just volume of control time. Um, so I think the under on the significant strikes is safe here.
Hmm. Yeah. I also
Agreed.
appreciate his renowned charitable contributions.
I do too. And again, say what you will about him, the flat earth stuff, the
Yeah,
I
believe.
love that he went on and talked about the Hawaii fire, and he
Yeah.
puts his money where his mouth is,
Yeah.
and he's doing a lot more for the causes he believes in than a lot of the people who just tweet about it. So
Hmm. Yeah.
Bryce Mitchell, I'm a fan, and I
I'm a,
do think he's going to win, but I don't think he's going to knock out Josh Emmett. And frankly, I think if he does, he clips him early and he doesn't get to 37.5 anyway. So
yeah, I really think that the less on 37.5 is the most well-rounded pick here in terms of thought and likelihood. Cool.
yep.
Less than 37.5 significant strikes.
Ryan, you good with it?
Oh, I'm good with it.
All right.
Cool.
I like it.
Made our first pick of the night, which is the
Pick
featured
one.
prelim, by the way. The rest of the prelims, Irene Aldana versus Carol Hossa. That'll be nice. I got Irene in that.
Me
Just
too.
outbox, maybe put her on the ground. This is gonna be a point fight. It's gonna go to decision. Casey O'Neill, Ariana Lipski. I'll go with Ariana. She's cuter. Um,
I was gonna say I actually think the Queen of Violence will pull that out,
Casey
which is
O'Neill. Oh,
no,
Ariana
the Queen of
Lipski. I'm
Violence
sorry.
Is Ariana.
Yep. Cool. Well, she's violent. What's
She's on the
Casey
list.
O'Neill's?
The Queen of Violence is also on the list.
Casey O'Neill is king.
That's no, I don't like that.
Queen of Violence.
Ariana Lipski is on the list. That is correct.
Yes. And if Casey wants to be king, she has to undergo some hormone therapy and surgery before she can compete in men's flyweight.
Wow.
Call herself king. She's the one with
That
identity
was a lot of
issues.
things.
Then we move into the main card, and we have Vicente Luque and Ian Machado Gary.
Dude, like Gary is such a wide favorite
He
against
is.
somebody who is like a well-known like brawler who also is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So this has Hamzat Gilbert Burns written all over it to me. At least as far as how that fight went, where Hamzat, people were like, oh, he's gonna steamroll Gilbert Burns, and then he did not. I think
Mm-hmm.
Ian is going to win, but his average fight time, and he goes to decision a lot,
Mm-hmm.
38% of the time rather. Average fight
Yeah.
time 11 minutes 13 seconds, so the 12 and a half scares me. 65 and a half significant strikes. He lands 6.6 per minute, and Luque absorbs 5.15, or 101.5 fantasy score. I don't know. I have a hunch, but I want to hear what you guys think.
All right. So these lines are one is not like the other. Let's just say
Yes,
that.
I agree.
So average
But we've
fight
gotten
time.
burned by this twice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you know where my mind's at. It's like
I do.
take the under on the fantasy score.
But we were burned by this 2 weeks ago.
But
We've
how
been-
is it? How is his fantasy line 101 if the line on the fight time is 12 and a half minutes?
Because
If it goes 12 and a half minutes, he's
It's
not
not-
getting 101
right.
points.
But this was literally whoever Benil just fought, Armin Strukian.
Armin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Armin, that was in the first round.
I know, and he was 112. So,
He
or
was
I think
115.
115, even more. So we've been burned by this high fantasy score number twice. Is all I'm trying to say.
Hmm. This
Aaron.
is this is one of I mean the strike differential is
Significant.
significant
Oh, pun
for
intended.
these guys. I mean, Vincente is landing 5 shots a minute and he's taking 5 shots a minute. And Gary's landing seven almost and only absorbing 3.5.
I think we
So
could all agree that Gary is a much more sophisticated striker than Vicente Luque.
he's definitely more sophisticated. He's more creative. He's
Mm-hmm.
way more elusive. I mean he also kind of fights a little like a cross between McGregor and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
I was gonna say the same thing.
He's like because he's got the accuracy down and but he's got that bounce. He has a bounce to him. My thing is he leaves his hands down. Like he does. He eludes other strikes.
Yeah,
He doesn't block.
I've heard so many pro fighters talk about how like guys like us don't understand that aspect of fighting. So,
Sure.
um,
What do you think about the fact that Shavkat may have knocked him out in sparring less than a month ago?
Gary,
What
Hmm.
was it? Shavkat? I thought it was somebody else.
No, it was
don't know that
Shavkat.
story.
That's what I heard. I'll
Huh.
see if I can find it. Uh, Gary KO by Shavkat. Yeah.
It
Oh
said it
well.
was Leon Edwards.
Oh really?
Yeah. This came out a month ago. It said that Leon Edwards allegedly knocks out Ian Gary in sparring.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
And
This
then a couple of weeks ago, when Brendan Allen was interviewed by Michael Bisping, he kind of
alluded that it was
he
true, right?
he confirmed that Ian Gary was knocked out in training.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know? Okay, I have many things to say about this. So, do we know what gym this was at?
Hillcliffe.
Okay. I don't know the
We're
culture. Go ahead.
Yeah, wherever. I think it was Killcliff FC.
Okay. So I don't know the culture at Killcliff FC. Obviously I've never been there. Some we know though that, and especially in our talks with Sam Alvey, some gyms there's one type of knockout, but then there's other types of knockouts, right? Um, I was just at, and I texted you guys about it.
Oh
And we'll
wow.
do a semi-free shout out because we respect the guy and we're such big fans of him. Dan Henderson's gym on Saturday. Um, I had initially made the decision that I was going to begin training there, and I still might. It is far away from my house, which is a concern. Anyway, I'm either going to do that or go to the Gracie that's right down the street from me. That's not the point. While I was in there with my brother-in-law, who is a jujitsu blue belt, actually, um, there were some guys sparring on a mat, and then some pro guys in the back. I didn't recognize any of them. They were not going hard, but I saw like four of them legitimately hit each other in the face. So I
Hmm.
think that you would think that a knockout at a place like Killcliff that has a legit stable of fighters, or like a
Yeah, we do.
CKB, is not the same as as a knockout at like some random,
Hmm.
MMA gym that is not of any sort of notability. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like at Hendo's gym, you can't even go to sparring unless a coach invites you. They're very controlled and very purposeful about it.
Hmm.
So, also, Ryan or Aaron, the next time you're here, they do Hendo's fight nights there, and I saw the cage, and the guy was explaining to me how it works. We have to fucking go to one of these.
Are
Just
these
Nice.
like little regional fights?
yeah,
That sounds dope. You should definitely go.
Definitely.
no, the two of us should go. I'm saying,
Yeah.
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 So Hendo's fight night, the last one was in August. There were six of them, six fights. All five of the six ended in a finish. I don't recognize any of these names. Oh, nope. There's a guy. who is on the was on the card that I saw training there on Sunday.
Oh,
Or Saturday. Uh and there were 4 fights that were canceled. Anyway, I do think we should go to one of these for sure.
you should. The
I'm in.
smaller events are dope. Enjoyable. This is
Oh yeah. Not super expensive either.
this one's interesting. Um man, if I was in Vegas, I would put one down on Luque just to win. Because I really this is I think Luque has more ways to win in this fight.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't
He's
think
got
the
more
UFC books it if they
experience.
think Machado loses.
That's true, unless they booked it a long time ago. They used to train together, so they're not unfamiliar with each other. I mean, Gary has to knock him out or he has to outpoint him for a decision like classic Wonder Boy sort of style. Um, but Vicente Luque can get takedowns. He's got a better submission game. He just lets himself get hit though. That's the thing, is he lets himself get hit. And that's not great when you're fighting Ian Gary.
Mm-hmm.
And but that whole thing with Ian Gary getting knocked out recently, is that too recent? Is because if he gets just a like I was saying, he does leave his hands down. He eludes punches. He doesn't block them a lot of the time. So I'm very curious if Luque can touch him, if he catches him getting out, pulling back or something. Uh, this one's really, really hard.
Ian's style though, right?
A lot
What's
of
his style?
kicks.
He's more, yeah,
He's
leg
gonna
kicks outside,
no
and
takedowns.
yeah, he's not going for takedowns. Where I think that Luque probably would, if he's trying to approach it strategically, would
Hmm.
try to put him on the ground
Which means he
and
has
go
to
for a
get
submission.
close, which is bad news.
Yeah,
Bad news.
bad news.
Bad news bears. And I mean, I don't know that the drama going on with him is like gonna play into it. Like
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But then I think about the Conor McGregor's, and like he was great until there was drama. As soon as there was drama, he didn't fucking win a fight
I
for
think he
years.
created a lot of the drama, and I would argue he did win fights. We was talking about I'm gonna ride through the favelas of Brazil and put them to work, and I'm gonna apologize to absolutely nobody and all that shit. Like,
Well, that was like his rise.
yeah,
But once he was double champ and he went at Nate Diaz, lost.
not when he was double champ.
Yeah, that was the first fight he lost after he won the belt.
No,
Yeah.
Then he had already been stripped because Nate Diaz did not win a belt. Nate Diaz has never
Yeah.
been a UFC
Yeah,
champion.
Nate Diaz didn't win the belt. He'd already
Yeah,
been stripped
or
because
it
he
was a different
left.
weight class or something, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
170, I think he went up.
Um, the point is
I'm
the idea that you would say Connor has had like an unsuccessful MMA career is silly. That's what
That's
you're
not what I'm
implying,
saying.
and we don't appreciate it.
I'm saying that he's lost 5 out of his last 6 fights in MMA. So
Well,
he's not a
records be damned, you know.
and a lot of it's because there's too much else going on around him. I don't
It,
think he
I
has the
mean,
focus anymore.
certainly seems that way. That's fair.
And I'm wondering if that has already happened to Ian Gary.
I hope
Like,
not, because what a talent he is.
and he looked like shit at the press conference. Like
Did
he
he?
was being a douchebag.
Hmm.
Like uncharacteristically so. He was like digging in on Wonder Boy, like the holder of the nicest motherfucker belt. He
Yeah,
was like trying to rip him down.
that's a
Like,
weird that's a
like
weird
That's a
thing.
you
weird
have
take. That's a weird
oh,
take.
on Embedded. What's Steven Wonder Boy doing this week? picking up kids from after school in his dojo's van to take them to karate practice.
Yeah, who
That's what he is
is
doing. You don't
yeah.
know. Like,
Don't
why?
don't don't do that.
And he was like picking on Alexander Pantoja or some shit, like flyweights. Like
Yeah, don't do that,
he's
Ian.
shooting down or way off. Like, and it makes me wonder, like, what is he not thinking about Vicente at all? Or is this just like deflecting? It probably is some deflecting. Maybe he can't find anything too shitty to say about him.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know. It makes me like really want to take the under on fantasy. Here's
I
my
get
here's
it.
my
No, I
here's my
get it.
only here's my only holdup. So Vicente Luque, right? He missed some time because he had a brain bleed and he didn't
Yes.
know if he was going to fight again. But he's already had a fight where he went 5 rounds with Rafael dos Anjos and won a decision. Uh,
Yeah.
looking at Vicente's fight history,
Right?
like he got knocked out by Jeff Neal, but Jeff Neal,
Mm-hmm.
hands of
And a
steel.
steal. Yep.
That's tough. Bilal, who is like on the doorstep of fighting for a title.
We'll
Then
get
he
there.
submitted Chiesa. Then he submitted Woodley.
Submitted
Then he
Chiesa.
submitted Chiesa, who's a much bigger fighter.
Chiesa, who's much bigger
Yes.
and a fucking killer on the floor. Like
Also,
he,
look, he knocked out Randy Brown, who, if we're talking about like frame,
mm-hmm.
similar frame to Ian Gary, 6'3", over 6 foot, fighting at 170.
Hicks.
I
Ooh.
I remember the TK, the doctor stoppage of Price, where they wanted to keep going. That was a great one. And they don't have who won. I know that Luque beat Mike Perry. He must have lost to Wonder Boy because Wonder Boy was still in the Tyrone Woodley picture in 2019.
Did you guys see who the welterweight backup is?
Yeah, it's Bilal.
Yeah, that's pretty
Good.
cool.
For the belt, right?
Yeah, for the
Yes.
belt. He's
Yeah.
gonna weigh it. He's gonna weigh in.
Good. He probably
So
should, because if nothing happens, he might not get another chance,
it
depending on.
I will follow you to the under on fantasy score.
I will follow
I'm
you.
for that as well. Because we did learn last time that knocking someone out includes 12 points for a knockdown.
Yeah.
So I mean, the second round for a knockdown plus the second round finish is what, 72 points? Oh shit, 75. So that plus 12 would be 87
Plus
So
the
there's a
amount of
plus
significant
whatever strikes
strikes.
he's gonna
times
land.
0.7.
So basically, it's got to go deep into the fight or to a decision, and I think it
So
probably will, unless
so
Vincente catches him,
Vicente Luque,
which is still a good thing for us.
looking at his fight history, I am up to
He's fought some monsters.
shit. Yeah, he
Like Ian
has.
Gary's been fighting
Okay.
not
So
quite
he has
monsters.
never been finished in the second round.
Luque?
Yeah. And furthermore, he was knocked out in the third round by Jeff Neal. You guys just said that. Decision with Bilal. Um,
Which the way Bilal
wait,
fucking
has he ever been knocked out?
yeah, just Jeff Neal.
Decision with Leon Edwards, other than Neal, I mean. I'm sorry.
No, just Neal, who was a
Uh
shorter fighter.
yeah. It seems to me that this is not the day that that changes, even though I do think Ian Gary is going to win. I will follow you, like I said, to the under on fantasy score.
Yep. I'm down under on the 101.5 fantasy score.
Okay.
Because I do think if Gary wins this, it's probably going to be later in the fight. I think it would at least be later in the fight. If he finishes it, if not, it would go to decision.
Although I'll say this, if we get burned a third time in a row
We'll never
on
do that
this
again.
number, we will just stay away from these high fantasy scores. How about that?
FYI, Vicente also had knocked out Jalen Turner in the first round back in 2018.
Well,
Oh
then
shit.
if he does that to Ian Gary, then we
still
still win the
win.
pick.
We still win.
Down.
Just saying.
And
Okay.
now we move into another fun one.
This is
Lightweight.
okay.
Tony
This is
Ferg.
the one I
Patty.
think we're going to have trouble.
Really?
On
And it's
how it's going to end.
it's because I hate Patty Pimblett. And there is a number that jumps out at me as I look at the three options.
Sure. Let me bring this up.
It's actually under Patty. Paddy.
I can't.
Fuck him.
I'm not
God.
amazed. I'm not amazed by that. By
This
the
has to be
minus
this has to be
310.
under on fight time.
See, I'm thinking this has to be under on significant strikes.
It could also be under on fantasy score.
So maybe it's not that obvious. So I mean, do we think Patty's winning this despite your
Yes.
hatred?
Yes, I do.
Only because it's Tony Ferguson.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's Tony Ferguson. Think about all
It's
of the
it's Tony
punishment.
Ferguson now. 2018, Tony Ferguson's not hearing a fucking peep out of
So
Patty
he's-
Pimblett.
It's
not-
minus
yeah, he's
310
not
for
fucking
Patty
peep.
because Tony Ferguson is who he is now.
Is 1,000
I
years
mean,
old.
just think about the beating he took by Bobby Green in his last fight. That was
Ooh.
this year in July.
Yep.
And then
Which he was
and
submitted,
then
right?
and then yes, after getting the literal shit kicked out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Then in Nate Diaz's last fight, this is 4th round submission. And we were here's what I remember. Us talking about how good we felt that Tony was putting up some type of opposition,
Yes.
right?
Against who?
Nate
Diaz.
Diaz.
He did.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's Nate Diaz, though. So
And Nate Diaz's last fight
And
in
then
the UFC.
and then he had the face rearrangement from Mr. Michael Chandler.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And did not win the first round, contrary to popular opinion.
No.
And then he went 5 rounds in 2021 with Beneil. That's a anomaly.
5 with
He lost
Oliveira.
he lost a decision with Oliveira.
Hang on just one second. Why do people think Tony won the first round of the Michael Chandler fight?
I don't remember. That was
Chandler
too
had
long
a
ago for
takedown
me.
and 15 more total strikes, 6 more significant strikes. Why do people think Tony won the first round of that fight? Someone remind me.
I don't know.
Son
Unless
of
he had
mom.
a
It
knockdown.
definitely had to be optics.
He did not
you
have a
know.
knockdown. Neither of them did.
Then
He
it
just
was,
didn't come out and
late
immediately
round.
get annihilated. That's why.
That's why. That's why.
Moral victory.
It was a moral victory of round 1 of that fight. Yeah.
Man,
I
Tony
mean,
is a tough motherfucker, though. He's still taking these guys, except Chandler, deep. Decisions with Oliveira and Beneil. 5 rounds. It took him to the 5th round to get knocked out by
But
Gaethje.
you remember that with Gaethje. That was the interim before Gaethje fought
Mm-hmm.
Khabib.
And that
I
was
do
the,
remember.
That was the end of Ferguson.
That
he
was-
went from the longest winning streak to the longest losing streak.
That was so devastating.
Yep. He got
It was
destroyed.
so devastating.
Like,
yeah, and it was the end of his win streak. You're right.
Yeah. This one, like, Patty to win this has to take him down and submit him. And that's Patty's thing. He club and subs. That's what he does. That's for the last 10 years. So, like, Tony has an advantage in this fight in that Patty has not changed.
Okay.
But that's the only advantage he has.
Let me ask you. Let me
It's
ask you.
not
an honest
enough for him to
question,
win.
Even though it's going to sound like I'm trying to poke at you, I'm not.
Sure.
What do you think has changed about Tony Ferguson since we've seen him in the last 8 fights over 5 years?
He's gotten substantially worse at everything he does.
Okay. Okay. Well, no, I will grant you that if you're
Mm.
saying that Patty is at least not worse.
No, Patty is
If
not
that's
worse.
the argument, we just don't know how
No.
good Patty is. Probably not very good.
That's kind of the thing is like Tony has been getting killed. And initially it was only by really good guys like Michael Chandler, Gaethje, it was
Charles
Oliveira, Dariush, like he was
Even
getting-
Bobby Green.
Even Bobby Green is really, really good. And
Mhm.
that's like aged Tony, chinned Tony, washed Tony. And Bobby got him. Uh, but Patty might have he won on paper against Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
You know, he beat Jordan Levitt, who just lost to another unranked fighter. Like
Hmm.
he has not been impressive as much as he was supposed to be coming over from what was he in Cage Warriors?
Yeah.
Um, but like,
Let's just put Patty in there with one of the guys ranked 6 to 10, so we can be done with the fucking Patty Pimblett thing.
yeah, I feel like
Put him in there with Mateus Gamrot or Fiziev or fucking Jalen Turner, and let's just get this over with.
yeah, and
I'm
that
not enjoying the Patty Pimblett era.
and remember like and same. I'm gonna continue shitting on him. You like after the Gordon fight, he said when Joe Rogan said that was a close fight. Patty Pimblett said, no, it wasn't. Fight of the night. Like he legitimately thought he was like
Hmm.
dominating and deserved performance bonuses.
Now, is
It
this
looked like
his
he was.
first fight in the United States?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, the only other thing that Tony Ferguson has
No,
going
it is
for him
not
at
his first
all
fight in the United States.
is that he is wacky. He is bizarre. He's weird.
He's much slower than he used to be and has pretty clearly taken some significant damage. Also, he's been training with David Goggins. If you guys are familiar with him, I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
I
don't.
don't know that this is the time to start doing something like that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Apparently, it's to be overcoming his mental blocks, not like cardio conditioning and stuff. It
Well, if you
is.
know David Goggins' story, which my
Mm-hmm.
grandma, of all people that are David Goggins fans, my grandma, she goes, I've been listening to. She's a big book. She reads books, listens to books. Uh, she, she's like, have you heard of David Goggins? I'm like, hey, you're 81. What do you? Yeah, I've heard of David Goggins. What
Whoa.
do you mean?
Whoa.
What?
Whoa. Never mind. We should stop making this pick.
Uh-oh.
He is out of 296.
So can we get it in then? Oh no, they'll just take it off. It won't matter.
2 hours. Ian Gary skips. Team says he's every intention, but I just read that he is out. He has pneumonia. Ariel Hawani's reporting it. There it is. He's been sick for days. That's bullshit. I've been watching Embedded. Dana White confirmed it, but guess who is stepping in to fight Luque?
Bilal?
Kevin Holland.
No
Of
fucking way.
course.
Give me
Of
Kevin
course he
Holland.
fucking is.
So
So
wait,
do we
we
just game the system and keep the Gary bet on there? Because it's still letting me do it.
Yeah, but we'll get
it'll
a
cancel it.
We'll get a reboot.
a reboot. Yeah.
So it wouldn't it downplay it to a out of five?
A five pick.
So
Do we
then do
pick
we
somebody else?
from Aaron Aldana and Carol Rosa?
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take Ian Gary off,
All
and
right.
we'll come back to that. That's a shocker,
Well,
but
no, let's just pick it now and get it over with.
oh yeah, let's finish up Patty.
Um,
Um,
oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
uh, sorry, I for some reason thought we were still on Gary. Anyway, that's shocking. Uh,
Kevin Holland just like hangs out at the UFC facilities and he's just like, yeah, I'll fight, whatever.
by the way, I'm mean.
But he's been
Let me
fighting at
know that.
185. No, he's been fighting at 170. So he's got to be on weight
Mhm.
unless they're going to do this at a catch weight.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a lot of news. That's a lot of news right there.
Yeah.
I let Amin know. Thank you, and that he'll hear me look at my phone during the podcast and go, wait, hold on.
Hold on, hold on,
So,
hold on.
Patty,
I like
You guys choose. I can't make an unbiased choice here.
okay. Aaron, what's your thoughts?
my thoughts on Patty Pimblett versus Tony Ferguson is under on the fantasy score. Oh, I can't hear you.
No, yeah, I'm whispering.
And it's because because of the reason Dom recused himself, which is that I don't necessarily wholly feel
Is
Patty's gonna
Patty good?
win. Is he good? Is he gonna win?
Is he good? How is he going to win?
I
He's
think if
not good
he's
at getting takedowns. He's just good at
club
going for
and sub,
submissions.
he's good at club and sub, and
If
he's an
Tony
okay.
says, fuck it,
At,
we're staying on the feet, how does this go?
it goes 3 rounds to a decision, and he doesn't hit that score.
All right.
And Tony or Patty wins. If it stays on the feet, I couldn't tell you who's gonna win.
Sold.
All right.
But I do not see Patty. I don't see him catching Tony in the first round. I don't see him catching him. I don't see him catching him. So it's well, yeah, okay, maybe I do. But if he does, it's like late. And yeah. So we're going less on the fantasy score for Patty Pimblett, 105.
All right.
Okay.
So
Um,
Irene Aldana is the name on the board here in the replacement for Luke and Machado Gary. And
cool.
because the Pretty Neat Podcast loves you, we want you to have a shot at 6 out of 6.
Mm-hmm.
In looking at averages here, so Irene wins by knockout 57% of the time, and her fights basically go the distance, and so do Carol Rosas.
Mm-hmm.
14 and a half and 15 minutes. So actually Carol Rosa exclusively goes to the distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goes the distance. So 72 and a half significant strikes and 84 and a half fantasy score. So Aaron A lands 4.86 per minute. So 4.86,
Is that 25 per round?
It'll
75?
be
4.86
75.
times 14.36 is 69.7. Nice. 69.
Nice. Point 0.7.
So the numbers are right there.
They are.
I think it's, do we think she's going to win?
I think
And then we just take
Irenae's
the over on one of them.
I think Irenae is gonna win. I think she's gonna dominate. I don't know how. And I do think that even if this goes to decision,
It'll be a
actually,
volume thing that gets her to the
it
84.
could be volume. She might get more than one takedown. She might get more than one knockdown.
Mm-hmm.
She could get a submission. She knocks people out and submits people.
Well, she
Um,
does not get taken down, and she does not take people down.
so yeah, I don't see the significant strikes going over though.
It's a stay
Necessarily.
away for me. It's so close. Ryan, what do you think?
So I was looking at strike differential. So be surprised to find out that Irene has a negative striking
Mm-hmm.
differential, which
Hmm.
is not good. However, her opponent, Carol Rosa, has poor defense. Anytime your striking defense is below 50%, means you get hit quite a bit. So I'm on Dom with the stay away from the significant strikes because while Irene really doesn't go for takedowns, her opponent is good for at least one, but her takedown accuracy is not great. And Irene's takedown defense is north of 75%. So it stays on the feet. I think Irene gets above the significant strike total. To Dom's point, it is super close. I do think this goes to a decision. If it goes to a decision, hit me with that scoring chart on fantasy points, because if we take a decision win, it's 20 points multiplied by 0.6 of a point for every significant strike. And we do not think that she's going to get any takedowns.
That'd be
43 points
at
if
her
she
at her average. It'd be 116 significant strikes. No, 116 points.
How would it be
If she
116
land
points?
because if she lands 69 significant strikes, point 0.6 goes into significant 69 significant strikes 116 times. Am I doing that right? Or am I scoring it wrong?
I'm
So if she gets, let's
I'm
say
getting
she gets her average.
41.4.
If she gets her average significant strikes
Oh,
over
yeah,
three
because I'm a fucking
rounds,
idiot and it's multiplied, not divided. That's right.
Yeah. So I mean that's 40 points on top of the 20, which would be 60. And she would need at least two knockdowns
And
or a
one, but what?
takedown.
No, but one knockdown puts her at 72, and then we're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at significant strikes. No, oh, see, I don't know.
Yeah. Now I do think if this does end up on the ground, Aldana would go for submissions, which an
So
attempt is
hang
5
on though. So
points
you said 20 for the decision win, 41
for the
if she gets
strikes,
to her average of significant strikes. So that's 61. Throw in a knockdown, that's 73. She's got to find 12 more points in there,
which could be one or that would be two takedowns,
which she
which she
does
doesn't
not
usually
do.
get.
I like the
Takedown
less.
defense, you get 3 points.
Mm.
So if Carol is getting struck up and she goes for a takedown,
Carol
which
averages
she won't get
1.3. So she'd have to stuff
two for
four
six
to get to
points.
the
four
12
stuff
points
four
based on the math we're
takedowns to
doing.
get to the additional
Gotcha.
12 points.
Yeah.
So let's take the under.
Could she stuff 4 takedowns? She for sure could.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
definitely could.
And I'm pretty confident
Her
this will go to a decision.
her stats suggest she would stuff 3 out of 4. In
Mm-hmm.
fact,
Literally.
I'm
Three
pretty
out of, yeah.
I'm pretty comfortable with the less on 84.5 fantasy score
A
then.
lot of stuff has to go against us for it to hit the over, I suppose, even though she could very handily win a decision.
Yeah, or if she got a TKO in any round, um, that would be not good, not helpful to the score because there's more points for a third round victory, which is 50 points. So if she finishes the fight, the score's gone.
Yeah.
And it really
correct.
does. It doesn't feel like that type of situation. This is gonna go to decision, I
It does
think.
Or
not.
it, yeah. Well,
So, and maybe it'll go Carol Osa's way. Hey, if that happens, we're happy anyway. So we're also covering that with this bet. If
she
something
knocked
happens.
out Yana Santos in the first round. She knocked out, is it Macy Chiasen? Yeah.
Yeah, which
In the
she's
first
fucking
round.
good. Macy's good.
Or I'm sorry, she knocked her out in the third round. Holly beat her by decision. Amanda beat her by decision. Uh, it doesn't show who won against Kellen Vieta, but that one ended in the first round.
That's good news for us though, because
That was way back in 2019, though. She doesn't fight a whole lot, basically once a year.
Holly's a striker, and Amanda had become a striker by that point, and Ariana Lipski's Muay Thai.
Have
So
we have we
this
reached
has
a point?
decision all
Have
over it.
we reached a point where we're the like post retirement reflection is like, God, Amanda Nunez was so fucking good.
She was so good. I watched her beat the
We're already
shit.
there.
I watched her beat the
God,
shit
she
out
was
of
so good.
Holly Holm again, and damn, she was good.
The
Anyway,
cyborg fight of hers, I think, other than Juliana 2, is probably my favorite.
so it looked like the page was reloading for a second. Oh,
She
okay,
knocked down Juliana 73 times in that fight. All right, so Aldana on
cool.
the under on fantasy score. That's fine.
That's the
Oh,
pick. All right. Now we're moving into what is the people's main event.
Mm-hmm.
yes, the
I would
people's
agree
choice.
with that.
Yes,
Shavkat
100%.
Rakhmonov, number 5, against the number 6 welterweight, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who's almost 40.
He is 40. He'll be 41
Uh,
early next year.
Shavkat, a significant favorite, minus 650. I think he's the biggest favorite on the card.
I think you're right.
So it's
He,
been a little bit more than a year since we last saw Wonder Boy.
mm-hmm,
And it was a year before that we had
mm-hmm,
seen him. So,
yep. I would I think we can all understand why this favoritism is here,
mhm.
which is that Shavkat is 17-0, but that's more special than it even sounds, isn't it, Ryan?
17-0, but
What's
17
unique?
finishes.
17 finishes. He's
Mhm.
never gone to fucking decision. Uh,
Never.
Wonder Boy has.
Yeah.
He definitely has. If we're looking at Wonder Boy's average fight time, because he's so good and prolific, and he's fought in so many main events, his average fight time is what? 14 minutes and 51
Look at
seconds.
that. My God. And Shavkat's is half of that. Ugh. But look at that. Wonder Boy gets more knockdowns, but that could just be the fight time. He's
Mhm.
fighting twice as long, so he's getting twice as many knockdowns.
Mhm.
Makes sense. But that's 0% decision next to Shavkat. So we got to look at the fucking
Oh,
the
if you
numbers
were
on
wondering,
this.
Shavkat's never been taken down.
Oh,
Yeah, he has 100% takedowns. We don't think that Wonder Boy's going to try and take him down.
no.
No, we don't.
I mean, this is
Do any of us think Wonder Boy's going to win?
I I don't see how he could.
It has to be just Shavkat shows up and have one of those crazy off days, right?
Right.
it
Like
Yeah.
does.
even if Wonder Boy is trying to play the distance game and point fight him, Shavkat's gonna cut the cage off and take him
So
down.
so earlier I said that Machado Gary and Vicente Luque
Hmm.
had Hamzat Gilbert Burns written all over it, but maybe this is the one.
Uh
Maybe Shavkat, who we all like, who we know that a lot of guys have been ducking. Did he fight Jeff Neal?
who?
He did fight Jeff Neal.
Okay, so he fought Jeff Neal and Neil Magny. Jeff Neal Magny, our favorite UFC mashup. Um, but then his other three UFC fights are just against guys who are not names. This is probably his biggest challenge. Stephen Thompson looked fucking awesome against Kevin Holland.
Holland.
Kevin Holland quit on the stool, basically.
Yep.
Um, or his
Broke his
corner threw
hand.
in the towel, whatever.
He broke his hand
Um,
from a high kick.
mm-hmm. Stephen Thompson is no pushover.
No.
He will show up prepared. Now he could get mauled, but
Mhm.
I don't know. This one is this is the honey dick 111.5 fantasy score thing. It really is just how much do we believe in Stephen Thompson? Because 111 and a half fantasy score is a first round finish, right? That's really the only way you get there. Can I get that
Uh,
scoring chart
a,
again?
a dominant first round and a second round finish gets you there
So
pretty
like a
easy.
first round with a couple knockdowns, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Okay.
do we think that that's what Shavkat does? Like I'm thinking back on the Jeff Neal fight and the Neil Magny fight. Now they're both finishes because we just said 100% finish rate. That he's a little bit more methodical in the first round. He'll take the opportunities as they're presented to him, but he's not essentially pressing the issue.
Yeah,
Like
his average
even
fight
the
time is comfortably into the second round.
yeah. So, you know, he's probably filling things out to a certain degree. Like the Cowboy Oliveira win, that's a first round sub. That's at the end of the first round.
Hmm.
The whoever Harris is, I don't know who the fuck that is.
I like where you're going with this.
Um,
Yeah, their first, second round. He
this
figures
is a
people out. He
a three
doesn't.
round a 3 round fight. So
Yeah.
what's he do? What's he do? Like Wonder Boy's game, clearly, like we kind of understand what Wonder Boy has to do to win, right? Stay on the outside, point fight, don't get taken down.
Yeah, he's in trouble because Shavkat is high fight IQ. He's very observant.
But so is
Um,
Stephen Thompson.
so is Stephen
Who
Thompson.
has a higher fight IQ than Stephen Thompson? Let's be real.
That's
Who
really
else does
true.
karate and makes it in the UFC?
That's a really good point. Um, yeah, and Shavkat, I mean, he's not overwhelming with pressure. He reminds me of like of much more durable Korean Zombie
That's a weird thing to say.
in that he will constantly be
Do
moving
you know what
forward, but
Shavkat
it's not
Rakhmonov
pressure.
would do to the Korean zombie?
Uh,
Terrible things.
force him to live unto his namesake. um in the shadow realm. But like this almost feels like the first decision of Shavkat's career. but winning.
Like he wins, pressures, he
Yeah, it's Hamzat Gilbert Burns, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
stylistically, but similar outcome, similar challenge for Shavkat.
Yes.
Okay.
When's the last time that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson got taken down? Because that's what I'm having a hard time of recalling.
Mm-hmm.
When has he been taken down and really controlled?
Yeah, I mean, Tyron, like that's a big part of their fights is being pushed up against the cage by Tyron. And he
Tyron Woodley?
defended, yeah, which he defended pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Oh, here we go. The
Kevin
Bilal fight.
Holland. Oh
The
yeah,
Bilal
yes.
fight. The Bilal took him down 7 times.
Mm.
Whew. And Shavkat can do it. Shavkat can take him down.
Shavkat, his takedown average is only 1.5.
But he can do it.
Oh, he can do it.
But like Stephen Thompson and Kevin Holland like didn't let it go to the ground. They basically had like a gentleman's agreement and let each other
Yeah.
back up. They
They
wanted
said,
to.
"Hey, we're gonna strike."
Yep. And that ain't gonna happen here. It's Shavkat's gonna look to finish Thompson, and I
So in
feel
that,
he's got to do it with grappling then, and probably a submission,
I think so too. If we're saying that
like a
it's gonna go to decision,
armbar or a triangle or something.
You guys
it would
really
be
think
some
it's
type
going
of
to go to
triangle.
decision?
Huh?
You think it's going to go to decision?
Maybe not a decision, but I'm tempted by the over on fight time.
I want to stay away from that. Uh,
Because
but
it's Shavkat.
here's where my logic's at. So Bilal took him down 7 times, attempted 9 times. He landed only 58 significant strikes in a 3-round fight.
Wonder
But
Boy
if
runs
you
around a
do,
lot.
he does. He does. Does that mean you have less than 111 fantasy points? I'm like going so crazy low on fantasy scores today.
UFC 296, and I hate the show Friends, but I'm gonna do it. The one with the fantasy points. I don't. And I do hate the show Friends because it's not funny. I kind of think the under here too. So give me the scoring chart. What is a second round 75 plus a takedown 81? Give him
Yeah.
2 takedowns 87.
Well, and if
Fucking 40 significant strikes puts him in the 107 range.
All right.
111 and a half is tough.
Comparison, the previous fight to the Bilal fight, Stephen Thompson fought Gilbert Burns. What did Gilbert do? 3-round fight, took him to decision, took him down 3 times, landed 29 significant strikes with no sub attempts, according to UFC's website.
Are you leaning towards less on the significant strikes here?
No, I'm still less on the fantasy score because 2 fighters that have shown this is the way that you beat Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Does he take him down and get some type of like late second round, third round type of submission victory?
So
does that correlate to less than 111 fantasy?
So
points?
he fought Jeff Neal on
No.
March 4th. He had 81 total strikes, but only 36 significant. One submission attempt that he got in the third round. He submitted him 4 minutes and 17 seconds into the third round. He landed 4 takedowns. So if we do that, that's 50 and 24 is 74. 36 significant strikes is rounded up to 20. That's 94.
So he'd have to win in the second or first to hit that score.
It
Right.
sure feels like it.
Yeah.
But can he land 41 significant strikes on a guy who is tough to hit?
Probably
On the
not.
ground, yes.
That is
Yeah.
true. If he puts him on the ground, puts him on
That's
his butt,
true.
and starts throwing elbows from up top.
Wonder Boy observes 3 significant strikes per minute. A 45% defense rate. Give me the less on the fantasy score. We are going to get
Less.
fucking eaten up. So we're going less on fantasy. So less on fantasy score for Patty, less for Irene, and less for Shavkat, right? So
Mhm.
far, we're
So
gonna
far.
get eaten alive by that.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's what makes the show fun.
Yeah. And I do. This has, as much as that makes me uneasy because it does. This does sort of have that feel of this might be the one that Shavkat has to go all the way. I mean, Sergio Pettis knocked him out though. Or sorry, Anthony Pettis knocked out Wonder Boy. Like Superman punch. Got him.
Okay. When?
It's years ago, four
No,
years ago.
what round I mean.
The second
Okay.
round.
Well, I suppose if he Superman punch knocks him out, we can live with it.
If it's in the third round.
At one point in time, Robert Whitaker, Stephen Thompson knocked out Robert Whitaker in the first round,
Round two. There it
which
is.
is crazy to think about.
Yeah. Okay, we're going less. All right. Co-main. Brandon Royval is challenging for the flyweight title against Alexandre Pantoja.
Alexandre Pantoja is known as the Cannibal. I just want to point that out.
Yes.
Is he known as the Cannibal?
Mm-hmm. That is
Okay.
a horrible nickname.
Well, what about Brandon Raw Dog Royval?
Also,
How about
a
that?
horrible nickname.
Raw Dog.
There is. Did they fight before?
Yes.
Yes.
And
And
Royval lost.
Pantoja, yeah, Pantoja submitted him.
Yeah.
It was interesting because it's a typical flyweight back and forth event until he
Mm-hmm.
made a mistake, and then he jumped on a rear naked choke, I believe.
So can we get
Hmm.
10 and a half minutes of fight time on this one?
I could totally see that.
They average 11 and 6 respectively. Yeah, of course they fucking do.
They fought each other. They know each other a little better.
Flyweights are so tough, and the odds are almost even. Pantoja is a slight favorite. Yeah, that one was in the second round. Pantoja won by submission.
And Royval's submitting people too. Got a much shorter fight time. I feel like this is gonna go. Like I feel like this is gonna go all the way.
I see the one I want. Do you guys see it?
Bringing it
Hold
up.
on. Getting there.
We have under 10 and a half. We have 10 and a half minutes on fight time. Over under 40 significant strikes. That feels
40 and a half.
low. 104 fantasy score.
104 and a half.
If I'm reading the room right, we should be picking less on that. And 2 takedowns for Pantoja. I like the 2 takedowns for Pantoja.
On which side?
Over.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
Hoival's takedown defense is fucking god awful.
Yeah, it's 39%. It's bad. It's
Mhm.
bad.
and
these are both ground guys.
Yeah, and Pantoja's not going to be afraid, having already beaten him by a submission already.
Mhm.
So go for the takedowns. So to me, and I do think it's going to go all the way.
Wait, you think they go all the way?
All the way. They're
They're
going
going
to
all the way.
fuck in the middle of the
Ooh.
cage, probably
Dude.
around.
Dude,
probably,
what could you imagine?
UD? Oh, ID. Let's D together.
Dude.
Nah, this is I am.
You're welcome. You're welcome, America.
To me,
Give me the golf swing and the glass break just for fun there.
sure.
Yeah. That's the sound of one of their assholes being torn open by the other one.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're welcome for that too. And that is a deep cut. You're right.
Oh, it was.
And you know what? Insert the coin for me too and launch the rocket. Why not? We're fucking here.
I didn't see that. Where's that?
Insert the coin
next
right
to-
there.
Right
Right there. You got it. Yep. And launch the rocket at the top. There you go. Yep. Yeah. That's the sound of the entrance being made. So this has become just a super violent homoerotic event on the
Yeah.
middle of the UFC mat, Las
Yep.
Vegas, Nevada.
Yep.
We're an open-minded bunch here at the Pretty Neat Podcast. I like the over, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm good on the over as well.
All right.
Over
I feel
under.
good about it.
His stats per 15 minutes. If we're stating that the fight goes the full 25, he goes over 2.
I could see him going over that too in the first 2 or 3 rounds. Like I
Yeah.
could see that happening so fast. Just even if they come out swinging, uh, they'll clinch up and somebody will whip somebody down, and I would put it on Pantoja. Cool, cool. Now we're into the main event of the evening.
This is a toughie. We have
It
two
is.
choices.
We got over under 76.5 significant strikes or over under 98.5 on the fantasy score.
Leon lands considerably less significant strikes per minute than you would think.
Yeah,
But he's more accurate.
very
That's the
accurate.
thing. He's
He
more accurate.
headhunts.
Sure.
Whereas Colby is doing kind of like a spray and pray approach. Let me just throw whatever I got. Yeah.
Hmm. Did you see his him on Embedded?
I
I
have not
I
seen
need
any
to
of
I
the
need to
embedded.
catch up. I need to catch up on embedded.
That
Uh
might be a Saturday morning thing for me.
Yeah.
I will this talking about playing a character. Colby gave a Cribs style tour of the rental house he was staying at, the Airbnb. Um, which he acknowledged was an Airbnb, which was very lovable. Like it would have been one thing for him to be like, "Yo, come on in to UFC Cribs," and for
Did
him
they
to
say
pretend it
where
was
in the
his.
Vegas area it is?
It's in Colorado. He's still in
Oh
Colorado,
shit. Okay.
which I mean, that could be adding to his game if he's been training at altitude.
Well, Colby's
Is
cardio is fucking
is he
nuts.
training at Team Elevation now?
I don't know. That's a great
He's a
question.
Florida guy, isn't he?
Usually it
Yeah, he was
puts,
training in Florida.
yeah, he was American top team, but everybody hates him now. Uh, Colby training camp. Let's find out.
This says MMA Masters.
That's also in Florida.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, I think this is, first of all, it's a great match. This is a great matchup.
Styles make fights, you know.
Totally. I think that when you have somebody as aggressive as Colby, you want somebody who's as tactical in their defense to be there and ready for it. You don't necessarily want an equal brawler because then you just get a wild slugfest and somebody goes to sleep and nobody's impressed by anything. Like,
Mhm.
so I'm worried for Colby on this one. I am. He does not fight very often, which is not to say he's got ring rust. He just doesn't. It would kind of suck if he became the welterweight champion for that reason. And welterweight is so stacked. Bilal Shah, like imagine if Shavkat kicks the shit out of Stephen Thompson, and then it's a long drawn out wrestling affair for Colby, and then he doesn't fight for another fucking year, and you've got this welterweight power logjam beneath him. Like it would bother me so much if he won because of how irregularly he fights. Um, but I'm not going to underestimate Leon. He destroyed Kamaru in their last fight. He beat him for 5 rounds,
Mhm.
and he finished him the fight before that, even though he was losing. He still uh, very was able to defend the takedowns, which is what Colby's going to bring. But
Almost a
Colby's
70% takedown defense.
Yeah, but Colby wrestles a bit differently
Colby
than
is going to
Kamaru.
get him down.
Colby's gonna get him down.
That is not a
Mm-hmm.
debatable point.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Um, but Colby is not really a finisher anymore.
He never
He,
really what or has been of
Mm-mm.
in the last few years, right? He's
sure.
he's he's going to decision.
Yeah.
He's just putting pressure on people. That's what his game plan is around pressure and cardio.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna outwill everyone. He's gonna outlast everyone.
So
Yeah.
you guys, this one seems obvious to me.
I think it's under on the strikes.
I was gonna say under on fantasy score.
I think it's also under on the strikes because he's going
Really?
to be defending takedowns a lot, and he is going for accuracy, not volume. I think he's going
So
to
why not
headhunt.
so 98.5? Give me the scoring chart.
Well, I think I would take under on that because I think Colby's got a great shot of winning.
So I think
So
Colby has a good shot at winning too. Colby has literally never been finished in the first or second round, and that's what 98.5 says.
hmm
Do we think that is not true?
that
Worley
is
Alves.
five, and this is 5 rounds.
Worley Alves submitted him in the first round in 2015.
That's a long time ago.
A
Yeah,
long fucking time ago.
yeah.
Colby has beat a lot of guys, and he has really, yeah, a lot of late rounds, you know. Um
But
the
also,
Worley Alves thing could very well just be like a fucking fluke. It in fact his record shows that it is. He knocked out our guy Max Griffin in the third round.
who has
Um
Colby beat?
Colby, I mean everybody but Kamaru.
And
Mm,
never didn't beat Camaro, beat Woodley at the end of his reign.
beat
Actually, it was
Masvidal after he was
Woodley wasn't even the
washed.
champion. This was after Woodley was washed. Lawler, that was after he lost the belt. After that, like bloodbath with our Canadian friend.
Yeah,
Wasn't
Maya's not
Colby
a champ.
Covington Max Griffin's UFC debut?
Yeah,
Yes.
Shit. Welcome to the show, buddy. Deal with this motherfucker. I feel like the under on fantasy score. I just don't see him getting stopped that early.
that's fair. There is enough room for accumulation though. This is 5 rounds.
But then if you think he goes less on the significant strikes, then he's definitely not getting there.
Yes,
Give me
that's
the
very
scoring
true.
chart.
Unless it's like a third or fourth round stoppage.
So say it's fourth round, so 35.
And
Say he gets to
plus a
76
knockdown.
and a half.
Yeah,
So okay, so 47 plus what? 30, even 40.
takedown defense.
Even 40, he's still under unless he stuffs like 6 takedowns.
hmm
Which we know he's going to stuff a couple, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is okay. It's not as cut and dry as I thought.
So if he stuffs 2 takedowns, he gets to his average strikes with a fourth round stoppage and a knockdown and 2 stuffed takedowns. He gets 98.9 fantasy points.
In the fourth round.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the fourth round.
Hmm. Hmm. What's his average significant strikes?
But that's if he gets to those significant strikes, right?
Yeah.
That's if he gets to the significant strikes, correct.
How
Of
many
76.
how
Yeah,
many
so let's look at
how many did he
I
throw
guess it
against
would be
Kamaru?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Let's look at his last fight against Kamara, which went 5. It was a majority decision. And he threw
He landed 120 significant strikes.
123.
that's not
120
significant.
significant.
Scroll down.
Oh, thank you.
Scroll down.
120.
120. Okay, so that's
Bill.
definitely a lot more.
That's almost 25 per round, which
So 120 significant strikes times 0.6 is what?
72.
72.
Okay, so 72. Give me the
Just
scoring chart.
Plus a
72.
decision
Plus the
victory.
decision win is 92. He did not have a knockdown.
But if he defends
And he's and
three
he
takedowns,
he defended 11 takedowns.
so if he defends 11 takedowns, that's 33 plus 120.
So he gets there.
He gets there.
Kobe doesn't get hit though.
Does he not?
Kobe absorbs 3 per minute. Kamaru absorbs 2.74. I'm an idiot. Don't ever listen to me. I don't know what to do. I thought I knew. I thought it was the under on fantasy score easily, but now I don't think that.
Well,
In the first Kamaru fight, Leon only landed 55 significant strikes, and
Mm,
that's a fifth round TKO.
mm.
So here's the comparisons, right?
What
In the
did he
first
do? Keep going. I'm sorry.
in the first Kamaru fight, with Leon, Kamaru went for 12 takedowns. Seems very Colby-esque, and he landed five of those.
hmm.
He landed 77 significant strikes against Nate.
And he kicked the shit out of Nate, and it was only
Hmm
77.
Yeah, Nate did not attempt a takedown.
Wow.
Leon actually landed 4 out of 5 in that one.
I mean, unless Leon could have a game plan of keeping distance with jabs and straights, touch up Colby's face. He does let his face get hit when he's rushing in with full brute force. That's what he does. Hit my face as much as you want. I'm gonna grab onto your asshole and try and whip you to the ground, you know. So I this is hard because uh I don't know. I don't know because I'm starting to like the less on significant strikes being dependent on Colby really putting a shitload of pressure on him,
Well,
potentially winning.
isn't that a given? Isn't that a
Yeah,
given that Colby's strategy every single fight is volume strikes in your face, pressure, pressure, pressure,
and ride
Hmm
take
you.
down, control.
hmm
I'm
Hmm.
not looking to knock you out. I'm just looking to win the fight.
He doesn't have that kind of power in his punches. It's in his takedowns.
I would agree. I
It's
would
in his
agree. And the only
leverage.
unknown is that he hasn't fought in a while. Has he added any other elements to his
And
game?
don't forget, this is a guy that took like a bad back of the head shot when he wasn't looking from Jorge outside of a restaurant, right? So
But he got that victory back. He fought Jorge after that, didn't he?
no, no.
Oh, it was right after that. It was
Hmm
after that fight. That's right. And that was his last fight, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was
Now let's see though, not that these two guys are super comparable, but how many strikes did Masvidal land in that fight? He landed 67 significant strikes, and that went 25 minutes.
I think
Um,
Colby will be hard to hit also. He moves.
he
He's
is.
very kinetic.
Who do we think wins this fight separately from this pick?
I feel like I'm undervaluing Edwards. Like I kind of
Hmm.
do actually think Edwards wins this fight, but it will be a really hard victory, and I don't think he's gonna land that many strikes.
I
I think he'll catch him.
I lean towards Leon just
Why?
because of how much improvement he's shown in his last two fights against
He's
Kamaru.
he's
A guy
fought better guys.
who at that point in time was certainly better than Colby.
Well, yeah, he
Yeah.
Yes.
was decidedly better than
It,
Colby.
yeah, indisputably better than Colby.
Yeah.
He beat him twice. So,
Yes.
And you take that Nate Diaz fight out, and he fought Bilal, which I mean was an eye poke in the second round, but he won the
mhm.
first. Rafael dos Anjos is never a joke. His job is to fight whoever the hardest fighters are and lose.
And
Gunnar
lose, yeah.
Nelson, he beat Cerrone, another kickboxer. Barberena was tough during this time a few years ago.
Brian Barberena is tough anytime.
So, like, I feel like Leon has fought better guys than Colby has. He's fought similar
Um,
guys.
no, I think Colby's fought better guys top to bottom.
Really?
Yeah, Colby, I mean, we're talking like prime Kamaru, better Tyron Woodley, 2019 Robbie Lawler that he fought Dos Anjos as well, Damian Maya, someone Ma. He also fought Barbarian in 16, Max Griffin, Warley Alves, even though he lost that fight. So I don't know. It's,
He
I
did.
mean,
And Leon fought Prime Camaro. Leon
Leon,
lost to him the
yeah,
first time they fought
yeah. Leon
by
is an
decision.
elite striker. Colby is an elite grappler.
And I think Leon knows how to beat elite grapplers now.
Well, he's shown us that
That he
is the
can.
case. Okay, I actually still like the under on significant strikes,
Hmm.
but I kind of like Colby here. And if I was just betting the fight, give me Colby at plus 130.
Yeah, I think that's a good bet to take
It's the value for sure.
because he could put him down on the ground and control him for 5 rounds, like a la Chael Sonnen and Anderson Silva won, and then just not get submitted at the end and win a boring, grindy, messy fight that leaves everyone pissed off now that he's the champ and won't fight again for a year. Like that's what I see happening. But that lends to the less on fantasy score or significant strikes.
The problem is with his takedown defense, that's like a weird exploitable score at 6 points each because you could rack up three of those in like 90 seconds,
Hmm.
you know, and then you're 25% of the way to
Well,
that fantasy score.
but you know what you're not doing if you're defending a takedown?
Striking.
Striking.
Landing
Yeah.
significant
That's
strikes.
that's a good point. Yeah.
So I mean, I was initially on this less, but now I'm kind of on this less.
Yeah,
Significant strikes.
I like strikes less.
Yeah, I
That's
do
where
too.
I'm at.
I do too.
Well, then we have our picks.
So let's recap
Picks.
them. The first fight on our picks is Irene Aldana.
Yes, and we made that last minute because
We
during
did.
the show, friend of the show, guest of the show, I mean, come on the show anytime you want. Let me know that Ian Gary pulled out of the fight with Vicente Luque, so we didn't take that. We put in Irina Donna instead, and she's going to get
Yep.
less than 84 fantasy score, like you said.
But is likely to win the fight.
Yeah,
Likely to win.
yeah,
Bryce Mitchell, also on the prelims, is not going to hit Josh Emmett significantly 38 times. Though I
we
do think
agree.
he is going to win.
Yes.
He could win, and if he does win, it's going to be in epic submission fashion.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm really still I'm in for the bet, but I think Josh Emmett's gonna catch him.
He could.
I think Josh Emmett is gonna put him away. But still less on the strikes. Then we get Patty Pimblett, the baddie. He's gonna
I
get
I have another opinion on this 100.5 number.
perfect. Well, we did choose that it will be less than that.
No, my opinion on it further supports the idea that it's going to be less. Patty is the public guy, right? The public number, they're like, "Ooh, cool, he's definitely gonna fuck up Tony Ferguson. Go with the more," and I don't know that he is.
That's true. There might be a lot of people jumping on a more
Mm-hmm.
for this, assuming he'll fuck Tony up.
Yep.
But Tony is durable. I mean, that knockout of Michael Chandler, I wouldn't let that ruin it. That was
Patty's
second
not doing that
round.
to him.
No, he's not. Cool.
You know what? You know what Michael Chandler would do to Patty Pimblett if they fought.
Make a very
Talk about a guy
enjoyable
who
couple
doesn't
minutes.
balloon up to fucking 300 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Um, yeah, keep going.
Who's gonna talk about the animal hat wearing motherfucker? Ryan, who'd we pick for this one?
Oh, I mean, of course we picked Shavkat because he wears the pelts of animals that he murders on his head,
Yeah, we
and he's
picked
gonna
him.
win. We're just curious on how he's gonna win.
Yeah. And
We
that's why
don't think he reaches that lofty fantasy score number.
yep. He's gonna get less than 111.5 fantasy points.
Yeah, does he finish it? We didn't decide. Aaron, you think he
Maybe
wins the
late.
decision?
Maybe
I
late.
I think this is either gonna be a late finish or this is gonna be Shavkat's first decision victory.
Part of me thinks even 14 minutes with Shavkat is a lot like 45 minutes with a lot of other guys.
Yeah.
Hey, it may make him even more of a scary opponent in the welterweight division for what we don't know about him, which is cardio and what he does in the face of adversity. So it could be an even bigger revelation for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How annoying would it be if if Shavkat Rachmanov destroys Stephen Thompson with incredibly impressive grappling and striking. And then Colby grinds out a boring ass decision win. And then it's like, okay, now we have the top contenders here, and he's
There
fucking amazing, and
is
we have to wait a
a
year.
real chance that exact thing happens.
I'm
So
so worried about it. And
careful
it,
what you wish for.
yeah, and I think like if that happened and Colby had an injury or something, they would need to do an interim.
It
And
would
I
be
love
Shavkat
interims.
versus Bilal.
It would be Shavkat versus Bilal,
That's a fun fight.
That's a
and that's
fun
what
fight.
it really
And I'm
is.
sorry to tell you, Bilal, I just think in the rip current of MMA life, you were just caught under it, and the timing just didn't go for you, which may also be the case for Colby. But before that, Alex Pantoja is going to take Brandon Hoyval down at least 3 times. So go with the
Probably.
more there.
Yep. Yep. That's what we're thinking. Pantoja, more than 2 takedowns. Get it. And
Get it, girl.
the main event.
Leon. I don't think we all decided on who was going to win or not. I think Leon wins. However, his time is going to be spent in good fashion defending takedowns. And what do we say when you're defending takedowns? You're not throwing punches.
You're not getting significant strikes. And if he does, this could totally be like a Kamaru Edwards 2, where or a Silva Sonnen 1, where we get a lot of wrestling dominance from Colby and he gets finished late by being tired and slowing down a tiny, tiny bit, and Leon lands a head kick. He's gonna throw so many head kicks, and he's gonna go low first. He's gonna chop the legs to try and slow the takedowns, and then he's gonna switch it and go high. It's just a matter of when and if Colby's ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but he's gonna do it in under 76 and a half strikes. There's no way this is a rain of significant strikes from Leon.
Hey, he could also catch Colby and then still be far under that 76 and a half.
Yeah. And he
Colby
probably
is
will.
36.
Yeah. Damn, he is 36, huh?
36.
How old's Leon?
Well,
38?
He's 32. He's younger than me now. So
Really? Leon Edwards is only 32?
yeah,
He's got that bald spot. You wouldn't think he was 32.
I have my whole head as a bald spot. Thank you for mentioning it.
Yeah, but you don't look 32. You look 32. He looks
I don't think
48.
I look 32, but as soon as I get my cold plunge up and working, I'm going to look 32. So thank you for mentioning it.
I think you look 32.
You guys ever do a cold plunge?
I have
No.
never done a cold plunge.
All right, you can come over and use it as soon as I get it all set up.
Hell yeah.
So we're gonna place these picks.
We're gonna play them.
We're playing them.
Oh no, I
playing.
gotta update the app. Oh, it played it. It played
Yeah,
it.
it'll play it, but you got to update the app.
It played it.
Oh, this was a fun episode.
Wait, what? New projection types, demons and goblins find red demons for a shot at a bigger payouts up to 100x. What the fuck is this? And did you see the thing they're doing for Christmas?
I've seen a
Yes.
couple.
Where
Yeah.
they're basically like, hey, if Kevin Durant scores,
A
Yep.
point.
which
Yeah.
based
Here you
on
go.
everything I know, Kevin Durant at over a half a point is a really safe bet. So
Did you see that the Washington D.C. basketball team and
Mhm.
hockey team are both moving to Virginia to
yeah, but they'll still
Alexandria?
be the Washington. They'll just play slightly outside the area. That's very common.
Yeah, okay.
Like the Jets and Giants both play in Jersey.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this ticket, but I'm glad we played it together.
I'm glad we played it together too.
What do we take it out on?
Well, we got to win this last card, so we need some good juju. It's Hanukkah. That involves
Yeah,
juju.
happy Hanukkah.
So maybe that's what we take it out on.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah,
Happy
Happy
Hanukkah
Hanukkah.
2024.
2024.
Yeah, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also because it brings us This really does bring